Alright guys, how are we doing today? I hope everybody had a happy and safe 4th of July, if you celebrate, or just had a happy and safe weekend. Anyway, today we're gonna start State of Mind, but first, there was something I wanted to look into, and I'm not 100% sure if this is going to be live or not. I'm just double checking some things. So at noon today, Tara Bassett should say because it's before after, is doing an interview discussing Breonna's case. She does say live. So she's not live yet. So in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and turn this off. I would like to read you all something from one of the lawyers that's working on the case. Let's go over here to capture. Let me see if, yeah, so that looks good. So here is Sam Aguiar. One of them saying that correctly. He is one of the people on the case. A few different independent media folks are supposed to be streaming the interview as well. Okay. Tara was the only one that I noticed who said it specifically. But, I mean, it's on the steps of the Hall of Justice, so I'm sure a lot of people will be there. Well, handful of people. So if you're not friends with Sam or you haven't seen this shared, we'll go ahead and read through this. It's kind of lengthy, but it explains a lot, especially what's happened lately. He says, as a part of our search for truth as to why Breonna was killed, it is our pledge to her family and our legal obligation to work diligently to find her. This starts with was used and goes all the way through the reasons why there has been no transparency since Breonna's death. The road to get this information has been incredibly difficult. It remains ongoing and has been frustrated by the lack of release of the police file, which we know has been severely lacking in detail. Our original lawsuit alleges information which we believed, based upon everything available to us at the time, set forth the basis for liability against the police officers. We have learned much more since that time, prompting us to amend the lawsuit and both add the additional information which we have learned and corrected anything which now appears to be inconsistent with newer evidence. For example, our original lawsuit alleged that the officers did not knock or announce prior to entry. There were supporting witnesses who did not hear knocking and only heard gunshots. Now that we have listened to Kenneth's statement, spoken with more witnesses, and conducted a further investigation, we are able to assert that there was knocking and no announcement, which is even more dangerous than not knocking or announcing and just making entry. Also in the amended complaint is a chronological timeline which we believe, based upon the evidence available to date, set forth the numerous egregious actions that culminated in the unlawful killing of Breonna. The timeline involves much more than a real estate development project. That's just the start. Indeed, our investigation has presented credible evidence that a police unit was formed to focus exclusively on Elliott Avenue to clean out an area planned for a showcase development that is quietly in the works. Our issue is not with the revitalization of West Louisville. That is long overdue and needs to happen. The issue is the quiet nature of this police unit formation. The tactics used to try and clean house on Elliott, and the absurd and outrageous decision to put the life of Breonna Taylor, who lived in South Louisville, in the mix and in danger. This never should have happened. This police unit, under direction of those all the way up the chain, engaged in targeted policing, high-tech surveillance of Elliott. The camera was quietly removed just days after Breonna's killing. Harassment and desperate measures to get people. When these methods didn't work, the result was 5 no-knock warrants designed to get the occupants out of the single house on Elliott. These were the first 5 no-knock warrants of the year. All of them went after residents of a home which was, at most, a low-level trap house. When Breonna's death was swept under the rug, a 6th no-knock warrant was executed on the same house a month later. All 6 no-knock warrants this year targeted the occupants of the same place. Notably, while the police unit had a stated purpose of targeting Louisville's most violent criminals, these targets had no history of violent crime, and one of them happened to be Breonna Taylor's ex-boyfriend. On March 12th, the assigned officers made error after error. First, the evidence shows that the plan was to never hit Breonna's house. It was just based on stale intelligence, in case one of the targets were there. They were not, and there was no reason to think they were. It is important to note that all officers involved were given pictures of the 5 targets for the warrants. Breonna's was not one of them. When bad intelligence led officers to inaccurately believe that the ex-boyfriend was at Breonna's house, the reckless decision to call on the warrant for her house was made. But when surveillance eventually located the targets in a completely different part of town, the evidence reflects that the warrant was called off. More than 70 LMPD officers or members, including a fully militarized SWAT unit, were directed by an on-scene LMPD deputy chief to hit the Elliott house. The ex-boyfriend was there and arrested, but 2 other targets, with no relation to Breonna, were not there. So the evidence shows another reckless decision was made again to hit Breonna's house. No real planning was done. They had no idea that the back of Breonna's building was an entirely separate apartment. They didn't know there's not a rear exit. They didn't know that Breonna had driven a new car for 2 months and that the car was totally different than the one in the warrants. They didn't know who Kenneth Walker was, even though he'd been with Breonna nearly every day and had been at her home 4 days in a row. They didn't know Breonna's 20-year sister lived with her. Thankfully, she was on vacation, in a room that they eventually shot up blindly. They didn't know that a 2-year-old child routinely spent the night there. The evidence reflects that the officers believed 2 men were in the home, call off the ambulance earlier, and didn't call it back for staging. The death certificate shows Breonna survived for at least 5 minutes after being shot. Kenny's statement reflects the same. They made no efforts to try and save her. They reported no body camera footage existed from the shooting officers, but also didn't acknowledge that others assigned to Breonna's home, there were way more than just 3 people there, who do wear body cameras. They won't discuss body camera footage existence or produce surveillance camera footage from Elliott. They won't reveal the officers who came up to Kenneth after the shooting, but before he was taken to PIU, and in the presence of other officers, told him that there was a big misunderstanding. They didn't tell us that their actual target was sitting right at the home of the fifth warrant, which was also being watched by LMPD officers. He could have been easily apprehended there with any decent intelligence, and if the correct location was hit. They didn't tell us that misrepresentations were made and stale information was used to get a warrant for Breonna's home in the first place. She was not a drug dealer, not a drug user, and not a part of any sort of drug ring. So there you have it. That's what we believe the evidence will prove at this stage. There's always two sides to a story, but ours is grounded in evidence, which we believe to be true. This issue is way more than a development project and a police unit formed to focus entirely on one street when the project needed to proceed with haste. The real issue is the series of catastrophic failures on the night of March 12th. If any one of them doesn't happen, Breonna is at the hospital today fighting coronavirus and making those around her smile. Oh, maybe if any one of those didn't happen. Maybe that's what he meant to say. Either way, so of course this is super lengthy. But that is the epitome of the evidence that we have. Or that they have, rather. So there's a lot of different things going on here. And I 100% believe that there is a lot of alternative objectives that led to this. There was probably somebody at the top that pushed for this to happen as soon as possible. Whoever that is, I hope they are found and tried. But I do not know when they are going to go live. I haven't gotten a notification yet. I got something about the state fair. But that's about it. Oh, Jason's live. Why did I get a notification 2 minutes ago? Oh, because Shay's doing it. Okay. Hold up. Shay! Internet. Okay, I just want to make sure I wasn't dropping any frames.
Pivot, which has worked which has worked up there. Basically what they did is they went and identified the highest violent areas that are the most concentrated. And they, think like The Wire and the housing projects in The Wire and how they targeted that in Baltimore in the show.
Let me know if I need to turn this up.
Cincinnati, one of their 2 projects was to send their police over to basically a place like that, clean it up. The second one was literally a street that on the corner had 18 shootings over the course of a year. That makes sense. Get police presence over there, see what you can do to make the community safer. The problem is that while Louisville, developed a place-based investigative unit for LMPD and targeted it, at least on paper, to be directed towards high violent crime areas, their primary targets on Elliott Avenue were not violent criminals. And you have a team of 5 to 6 plainclothes officers that were basically given free rein to just harass, pull over for any reason, keep hitting these houses. They put up a full surveillance camera. We're watching them 24/7. And frankly, I think we could all go over to West Louisville right now and identify some places that really are subject to homicide, lots of shootings, things along those lines. But Elliott Avenue is not one of them. And frankly, it's pretty obvious because Elliott Avenue is fairly vacant right now. There's not that many people there. So the issue that we have right now is that on Elliott Avenue, you've got 6 plainclothes officers basically doing anything and everything they can to get people out of a few homes, one of which is the home of an ex-boyfriend from Breonna Taylor years ago. And you got this to tear them down. By November, there's conversations being had over the plans. They've got, as we saw yesterday, they've got a gentleman over in the West End who, appears to be, I guess, the boots on the ground, and certainly we've got more that we need to learn about that. We've got, by this point, a house on Elliott Avenue that is a major roadblock. And in December, they hit it for warrants. In January, they arrest occupants over there. And between January 2nd and I think January 5th, you've literally got arrested traffic stops of all these people. You've got, on January 10th, you've got a warrant on one of them for their vehicle. On February 14th, you've got another warrant. On March 9th, hit them in a house and nobody's there. And then it does look like enough is enough. So on March 12th, you've got LMPD getting their first 5 no-knock warrants of the entire year to hit a small home on Elliott, 3 of which are to hit a small home and adjacent 2 properties on Elliott Avenue over, at most, minor drug violations. And then where the issue just gets so crazy is, then all of a sudden you've got another warrant for a place right around the corner, and then you got the 5th warrant for Breonna Taylor's house. And there's a housing development and the need to, get these houses bought or given to you for $1 and knock them down so you can put in new things, really worth. This justifies 6 plainclothes police officers basically sitting there all day long just watching and trying to get you and going into home, going into home, going into home. Is it worth a no-knock warrant to begin with? Is it worth a 24/7 surveillance camera? And then is it worth trying to lump in some girl who lives 10 miles away on the south end of Louisville, who literally has a different boyfriend who is there every single day, who is on the warrant for intelligence that's 2 months old and even has her driving a car that she got rid of 2 months ago, who has no drug history, who works 2 jobs? So I guess the point is that, yeah, when we look at this puzzle piece, it does start with this plan that was recklessly executed that we don't think looks anything like the one that works in Cincinnati. And we don't think that it looks anything like really what this unit was supposed to target. They're supposed to be targeting violent crime syndicates, and instead they decided that a house needed to go, so they needed to target, what was at most a trap house. None of those folks in that house have any violent criminal history. They've got drug history, no violent criminal history. No.
Do you think that the mayor's lack of response to fire the cops has something to do with the Vision Russell development and gentrification efforts?
So the question is, do I think that the mayor's lack of response has something to do with the Vision Russell development? My visceral reaction to that is no. Vision Russell has been at play for 5 or 6 years now. When I drive through Russell, I don't see much, execution. So I do think that the mayor's on a short timeline right now to get a lot done if he's going to uphold his promise. Do I think that Taylor, the officers were at her home that night because of Vision Russell or this Elliott Street project? When you connect the dots, that's where it starts. I mean, obviously there's so many other things going on. So it's an issue, and it's been an issue, and I think that some transparency right at the beginning to talk about what this police unit was, why they were there, why they were constantly arresting these folks, why in the world they were at Breonna Taylor's house that night, why the evidence shows that her house was never supposed to be hit. It was a backup warrant. I mean, it was kind of a desperate effort. We can't find these guys. Maybe they're at the ex-girlfriend's place, that we saw her apparently at 2 months ago. So I wish it was just a simple situation. I mean, It's a long amended complaint, and I'm sure a lot of people read it and say, my gosh, really? You know, all this legit? And right now the evidence that we got, you know, the evidence connects all the dots.
So with this new information, Sam, in your opinion, should this be added in the decision that AG Daniel Cameron is making, this new information? And if it is added in, should we allow him more time to make sure this information is in there and is in the file and is being considered as he makes his decision?
Well, let's make a couple of things clear, okay? We've been doing a lot with a little for a long time. They've got a lot to do a lot with. So absolutely not as it comes to more time, because here we are having to connect the dots on CAD sheets that show times and dispatch communications that are open to the public and conversations that we're having to have with people in the neighborhood, whereas they've got the entire police file. So absolutely not in terms of more time. You know, my issue is that here we are having to connect the dots with the evidence that we have, and really, if you're going to uphold your promise and you're going to put your money where your mouth is, everything that we put out there should have been released the next day. And you know what? If it was released when it should have been, we could have gotten through this. If you say we had a colossal fuck up and we are ashamed of ourselves, we are cleaning house to make sure this never happens again, Breonna Taylor's life mattered and we can't believe this, then you know what? We're forgiving as a community as long as you actually went and did what you said you're going to do. But instead, a month after the shooting happens, you got nothing happening in the case. You know what you do have? You have LMPD busting into that same house with their 6th no-knock warrant of the year, which is the only 6 that they've executed all year. Literally no-knock warrants, thank God they're gone. But they should have been reserved for the most risky and violent situations available, and instead, you use your power and authority to backdoor in a 26-year-old girl's apartment? Crazy. And I think it's important too that, you know, you only got to hear some of what Kenny Walker had to say. So here we are 2 months later, and just to make it look like they had grounds to arrest him in the first place, which they didn't, you know, we all get to hear like 10-minute snippet of what he had to say. But what you didn't hear is that they kept asking him if a white male was in the apartment. You didn't hear that an officer walked up to him and he keeps saying, where's the officer that walked up to me afterwards and asked, you know, and told me this is a big misunderstanding? Where's that guy? How come we didn't hear that? There's lots that, and here we are getting this so far after the fact, so that's why these dots take us a while to connect. I guess to a certain extent, I can understand the need for a criminal investigation to be discreet and not compromised. There's certain things that should come out because it'll put the public at ease. But they also didn't get the file until everybody, you know, watching, everybody around the country finally spoke up and said, this is crazy. It took all of that just for LMPD's own investigation to get turned over to somebody that could really do it the way it was supposed to be done. I mean, we all saw the FBI's truck and fancy equipment over at Breonna's house a few weeks ago. Do we really think they would have been over there doing that if LMPD actually went in and did the homicide investigation that was supposed to and got the evidence that it was supposed to get?
Speaking of like negligence, over the past month or so, the mayor's been making appearances around town. He's saying that there's a process and that he has to go through. He doesn't have a power to fire the cops. From a legal standpoint, can you go ahead and dispel the myths? Because I think at the least he could fire the cops for not having body cams, and like the cops that was outside not turning over their body cam footage. At the least he can do to fire the cops. He's acting like he's this powerless entity. From a legal standpoint, can you dispel that myth?
Sure. So the question, just in case anybody didn't hear, was basically what went on for all those months when it was, we can't fire the officers, we can't fire the officers, we can't fire the officers. Then all of a sudden one day we get an officer fired, right?
Right.
So what's the deal there? We've seen the FOP contract that tells us the disciplinary process. We've seen the statutes that the mayor kept citing, and we know that he could fire them under those statutes. But then there was this memo of understanding release that was kind of this quiet hush-hush agreement between the police and the city that was put together by the county attorney, which gave this interpretation of a statute that was not the interpretation, that basically made it tougher to suspend actually without pay, not fire. they've got all the information. They knew what happened the first day. They had enough to fire Brett Hankison the first day. We all saw, this isn't lawyering right here. We all saw the window. We all saw the patio. We all saw the pictures inside the house. It looked like a freaking, it looked like Baghdad in there. And then he leaves the scene. And I don't care if it was nefarious or not. You do not leave the scene of an officer-involved shooting in which you just shot blindly into a house. There is no protection for something like that. And at worst, what everybody needs to remember too is that if these officers get fired, they have recourse. So you fire them, and if they want to go present their case, and if it's compelling, you bring them back, and you know what they get? They get back pay. It's not a punitive damages type thing. It's not something where all of a sudden the city has to shell out millions of dollars for a civil settlement. You just give them their job back if you're forced to give them their job back. So no, I don't accept that narrative for several months that my hands are tied, and basically the insinuation was I would do something if I could. Well, no, you wouldn't do something if you could, because then all of a sudden, literally the day after, you say, we got this memo out here that literally says we can't fire these officers. You fire one of the officers. So sometimes, sometimes I know you're asking legally, but sometimes we just gotta look at things with common sense. If you couldn't fire them one day and nothing changes between that day and the next day, and you can fire them, then you could have fired them the whole time.
Sam, one of the questions that keeps popping up on my feed is follow the money, follow the money, follow the money. The company that sold the house to Metro for $1 says also has several other companies incorporated under the same board and officers. Plus there's a construction company listed there too. The question, will this construction company get a juicy Metro contract? Will it be used as a subcontractor for another company? That's from Lisa Marie.
Okay. What I would say to Lisa Marie is that I've spoken with the owner of 2424 Elliott. He had received a public nuisance violation, and it seems like what this unit, this PBI unit, was trained to do, in addition to just harassing people and patrolling the street left and right, and well, I don't even want to call it patrolling because they're driving unmarked cars with plainclothes outfits, was to really learn about how to get nuisance ordinances involved, so you could basically come up with a reason to get these folks out and get the house because of nuisance. A nuisance letter, from what we see in the public records, was sent there, I want to say in January, and it was scheduled for a hearing in March, which was a no-show, but something happened afterwards, it looks like, to where they weren't able to enforce that public nuisance. So then another one was sent in April. This is a nice guy that I talked to. I didn't get the suggestion that from talking to him that either he's somehow involved or that he's quietly involved in some sweet deal, because let's face it, if he was, he wouldn't have held on to this house for so long. Metro's been scooping up these properties for the last couple of years, and his was one of the last ones standing that needed to be taken. If this guy was doing something wrong and he was willing to give the house up for $1, he would have done that a long time ago. So I don't necessarily see the connection there. It looks like the city really just pressed and pressed and pressed, and finally in June, this guy, he's got enough houses. This is a house on Elliott Avenue. He said, take the house.
Do the officers have a gag order being asked? So if they were fired, they can speak if they want to.
To my knowledge, police officers on their own can speak whenever they want to, and some have. And I'm so appreciative of the ones, especially the ones that stepped up and joined the protests. I wish more would. I think more of what we're talking about there is that blue line. And you got to think, if you speak out and if you talk, we've seen from history that you're the officer that snitched. You're the officer that's getting ostracized. I think, like we talked about last time, that officer might be in a situation where he needs backup one night, and that backup may be a little slow. You hear about that in other towns. Am I saying that's going on here? No. Do I think that's what happens? Yes, because otherwise we have a police department of 1,500 people. You can't tell me that the 4 or 5 that are spoken out are the only ones right now that have critical thoughts about what happened. I commend those officers for their courage. I hope more will come out and talk like that. I'm sure that there is some sort of internal directive that don't comment on this, pass it all to the legal advisor, things along those lines. But at the end of the day, what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. And if I was doing things Something's wrong in my office right now. I'd be upset if one of my employees didn't speak out about it. I'd be really upset.
What? To switch it up just a little bit. What position or role do you think that Daniel Cameron plays in making a decision to prosecute the cops?
Sure.
It seems like it's. I mean, what just happened in March? This is what almost since July. In my 40 years on living this earth, most of the time I've seen if a prosecutor wants to prosecute somebody, it can happen instantly.
Yeah, no, I'm happy to answer that one. So just in case anybody couldn't hear, questions basically, what do I think Daniel Cameron's role is in this? How come the decision wasn't made regarding prosecution right off the bat? A couple of things. Number one, I think Daniel Cameron's role is very minimal. I think that he's not a prosecutor by trade. We see him all the time. We know that he's got other things going on. I think he's assembled a team within there that's directly responsible for this, and he's going to ultimately defer to that team, but I don't think he's the one calling the shots here. If anything, he may be passively involved just because he's the head prosecutor of the state. The second thing I can say is they didn't get the file until the middle of May. So people need to remember, when you're being critical of the AG's office, they have had the file for almost 2 months now. They haven't had it since March. So again, my criticism starts right over there at City Hall, because it took 2 months and everybody watching and everybody else to even get the file to the feds and to the AG. But the other thing is, to remember, they were handed a police investigative file when police investigated themselves. So,
Garbage truck.
they were handed a police investigative file where it was the police's own investigation. I do think that he's out and done some of their own investigation. Whether it's been sufficient remains to be seen. Whether they've concluded the same things that we have remains to be seen. A lot of the conclusions that we make are horrible, catastrophic failures of policy, procedures, and we're really hoping that the feds take a close look at that, because the feds are going to be the ones that have the discretion to come in and look at federal civil rights violations. There was a case in Georgia in 2009 that's great, that everybody should look at, because 3 officers in that situation went and hit a woman's house that was 92 years old. They fabricated the warrants, they blatantly violated policy, and all 3 of them were sentenced. I think one for 10 years, one for 6, and then another one for maybe 2. There's the feds. I hope they're looking long and hard at that warrant. I hope they're looking long and hard about any obstruction that was done after this to make it look like what happened was totally above board. But from a criminal standpoint, right now, I'm not a prosecutor. I've never been a prosecutor. So I can't sit here and speak in the shoes of a prosecutor. I can say that if you sat there and told me I had to turn into a prosecutor today, I would start exactly where we did. I would put a lot of scrutiny on the number of shots, the time sequence, and things along those lines, where the shots came from, who they came from, and that doesn't take forever. I mean, we've got homicide unit here that, like you said, you got to do an investigation. You don't want to be called out and not have. We want charges. We want them to stick. And the last thing we want is for them to just go and say, "All right, finally, we give in. We're going to slap charges on all of them." Now, eventually, Steve Romine's an incredible lawyer in town, representing David McAtee's family, makes a great point. If any one of us went and did what these officers did, we would be charged. We may not get convicted at trial, but we have to go face a jury, tell them what we did, have the other side of the story, and then that's what our jury system's for.
And Kenneth Walker, they charged him right away.
They sure did. And they sure put on a 2-minute grand jury presentation that they should be ashamed of. And I'm telling you, I don't like that. I mean, I get it that you can't just get up there and play every statement for everybody, but they should have made Kenneth Walker's full statement available. It's not fair to the public that they didn't. When you hear it again, he is adamant about certain things. One of which, again, is that he literally described the officer and the officer's vehicle and says point blank, this officer walked right up to me. I was already in another officer's car. She had to, roll down the window for him to talk, so she heard it all, and he said this is a big misunderstanding.
And do you believe that's on the body cam footage, and that's the reason why they won't show that? Do you believe it?
At that point, from my experience, unfortunately, and I think what we're going to hear a lot of in this case, that's just going to hopefully change, it's going to make the public upset, is that after these officer-involved shootings, and the PIU gets on scene, body cameras cut off. It goes away. So we don't know what they're doing as part of their investigation. That's not transparent. They should have it recorded because, let's face it, we rather watch a recording and see what exactly happened, or do we want 70 officers on scene giving their version of what happened and Breonna Taylor dead over here who can never give the other side of the story? It's not right.
Sam, somebody's asking if you feel safe.
Yeah, it's, if you'd asked me that question up until a few days ago, I would have always said yes. No, nothing's happened. No. No, I mean, it's when you start to uncover things and you put them out there, and the immediate story is that it implicates City Hall and things along those lines, real estate developments. I'm a straight shooter, so it was, when we put that out there, we knew that we were going to get punched back pretty good. That's okay. We've got information showing that we're right. But you start to worry a little bit.
What you did took a lot of courage.
Sam, I know for the last 2 or 3 months we've been demanding that the 3 officers be fired and arrested, charged. But with this new information that's come out, it's seeming like that more officers were complicit and more people were complicit in what happened on this night. So do you think there should be a further investigation into people involved into this situation?
Well,
and how do we get that done? When does it happen?
Sure. So should there be a further investigation to the other officers and what they did? From the federal standpoint, absolutely. And I'd be really disappointed if it's not already happening. Again, we are trying to do a lot with what we have. It's get home at 1:30, get back to the grind at 5, hit this neighborhood, hit that neighborhood, review this, review that, and ultimately we come across something and say, wow, that connects this. What's next? They have the luxury of the whole file. They have the luxury of, subpoena power that actually gets you what you need fast. So no, nothing that we put out there yesterday should have been a revelation to either the feds or the AG's office. Frankly, they should have been sitting on it months before, or, at least a month ago. And in their defense, they can't put it out there. So no, I think that they should have everything they need. And ultimately, let's get something clear too. And I hate even saying this because, they'll be watching and say, oh, bullshit. But
We like it when you say bullshit.
no, I'm just saying, I'm not anti-police. I'm anti-corruption, I'm anti-racist.
Right.
So at the end of the day, just like we talked before, the end game to this has to be, in addition to justice for Breonna, a police culture where our good officers are taken care of, where our bad officers are weeded out, where we've got our streets policed in a manner to where we can trust everybody that's policing because we know that they have our back, where we don't have to worry that we've got folks in the 1st and 2nd Division who are have implicit biases and racism. I think officers, I think we should, like we talked about before, I think we should incentivize them to live in the communities they patrol. I think that we should take a long, hard look at plainclothes policing. One thing that I saw, now granted, I don't know if Cincinnati's always done this, but there was a video online that shows one of these sergeants that's actually in charge of this pivot program. If you think about it, first of all, she's in uniform. And if you think about a unit like this, why do you need to be so covert when you're there every day and everybody knows who the hell you are? If you want a community to feel safe and you want to weed out some of these people, why aren't you sitting there in a patrol car in uniform? That sends them more of a message to, hey, we're going to be sitting here. You really want to go do what you're doing over there, that's fine, but just know I am a policeman. I am sitting right here watching you. And if you want people to leave the neighborhood, I could be wrong. I'd love to know what the commenters say, but doesn't that make a lot more sense than driving around your seized, Chevy Camaros and zooming by and wearing plain clothes and then, quietly hitting houses to where nobody around's even knowing that you're hitting them, why not just sit there? I'm the police. Send a message to the neighborhood. I've got your back over here. Anybody tries anything right there? I've literally been told by Louisville Metro Police Department that me and 5 other people are assigned to make sure that does not happen on this street. And we're here. We got your back, but that's not what happened. And part of it is because they brought over folks from the 9th Mobile. And the 9th Mobile is the group that 2 years ago was getting all, and last year was getting all that scrutiny for pulling people over, stopping, frisking them.
They're making wide turns.
It was basically, people, places, narcotics. If you are young and black and you are driving a nice car, you must be dealing drugs. And then all of a sudden you take these 9th Mobile folks and you turn them into, basically the folks that are supposed to do the same thing. And why are you doing it all? And why, if you're supposed to take down violent crime, are you literally putting so many resources into a few homes on a street that, again, was mostly vacant and did not have violent criminal histories there? Low-level trap houses. Go after the real problems. Go after the streets where you actually see shootings at the corner, where you see gang violence. Those are the neighbors that actually need to feel protected. There are no neighbors on Elliott right now. There's 25 vacant homes in a 3-block span.
I own a house on Elliott.
And if you live on a house on Elliott,
I own one. I don't. It's not. We're opening it for women coming out of human trafficking and domestic violence.
yeah, I read the permit on it. If it's the one I'm thinking of, it's at 27th, like right over by 27th.
Yep.
So the primary focus of this project is 2400 to 2700. First of all,
Yep.
people, if they don't know Elliott, 2400 and 2500 are the same block. They're actually combined. So we're talking about 2 blocks where 25 homes are literally owned by the city, and half of them have been demolished. So what are you going after? Why do you need an entire police unit to go through there? And it's inevitable. Think about it. If you were told today at a law firm, hey, I need you to, call the doctor's office and see why they're taking so long to give us these medical records.
Right.
If that's your only job, you are going to be doing it so many times that day that it's going to annoy everybody. And basically, if you tell 6 people, hey, here's 2 blocks right here, you need to clean it up, and there's nothing to clean up other than a couple of houses, you are going to over-police.
Yep.
And that's not good, efficient use of our resources. And then imagine if all of a sudden you keep doing all this over-policing, and these folks are still there, basically because you've been told to get on this assignment, all of a sudden, you're being scrutinized, I'm sure. Why can't you get these people out? We needed you to get out a few houses. Well, then all of a sudden it's 5 no-knock warrants in a desperate effort to go connect one of these guys to his ex-girlfriend from 2 months ago, when your best intelligence is that you've seen her driving around a Chevy Impala that she hasn't had for 2 months.
Right.
That you saw a postal worker, you saw the guy leave your house with a package that then you're going to say, you verified was suspicious, only for the postal inspector to say that that's not what happened. So many problems.
Right.
Two questions, Sam. The first is, was the stuff in the Breonna Taylor case supposed to be sealed or not?
That question is probably coming in relation to, and they can correct me if I'm wrong, in relation to the story that came out last week. That was kind of a big misunderstanding. So basically the way the story read was, hey, we went into court, told the judge, we don't want anybody to see anything about the Breonna Taylor case. That's 100% not what happened. Up until that point, the argument was, hey, from the city, we don't want anybody to see what happened in the Breonna Taylor case. And our argument was, we've got a case we've got to prove over here. Evidence gets lost, it gets destroyed, it gets misplaced over time, memories fade. We need this evidence now. And so our options were, the public doesn't get it and we don't get it, or the public doesn't get it but we get it. So we've gotten a couple of things. Nothing that I put out there I can't talk to y'all about. I can tell you that I have an autopsy and I have some personnel files. I cannot tell you what they say, and I won't.
Second question is, they're asking about Judge. The judge
Let's
who
talk about
signed
the judge.
these. Let's talk about the judge. The 2 questions are, does she have a stake in the Vision Russell development? That's Judge Mary Shaw. And you know, whether or not, the question is whether or not she should be removed for taking fraudulent information and signing the warrant.
Well, first of all, Judge Shaw is a fair, kind, good judge. I've never felt like I didn't get a fair shake in her courtroom. I didn't feel like she was ever biased. I still don't. Thank you. She most certainly does. I don't know. I could tell you wholeheartedly that woman does not have a stake in Vision Russell. She is a good judge. The whole essence of the word fraud, that's a perfect word to use. Fraud is when you misrepresent something to somebody and they rely upon it. I can't blame a judge for being presented with a sworn affidavit that said what it said was true under an oath to God, and that it came back to be false. We can't ask judges to be lie detectors. Now, was the information in there pretty stale? Sure. There's a very low standard to get a probable cause for a search warrant. Was the information in there false? Yes. Do I think that a judge would have actually signed that search warrant had that false information been left from there? No. Because the only information that you had in there at that point is you've seen a car going to and from a place a couple times. That doesn't give you probable cause to go search their place. But when you go and suggest that all of a sudden a postal inspector is getting suspicious packages there, then that's where the judge is probably going to look at it. And I don't think she's the only judge that would have signed that warrant. And never once have I can understand why the public's critical of Judge Mary Shaw. I've been fortunate enough to be in her courtroom a lot of times. I'm not critical of her. She got duped, just like everybody else did. So
go ahead.
Let's let Shay go.
This is pretty much a common question through my comments and pre-comments. They want to talk corruption. And a lot of folks feel that the Breonna Taylor case is the catalyst to open up Pandora's box.
So the question is, or the comment is, I want to talk about corruption. Breonna Taylor's case might be the catalyst. I hope it is. I've been dealing with these cases for the last 7 years, and they're we've seen it from day one. You know, we've never got a complete answer as to the body camera. Immediately, it was these 3 officers weren't equipped with body camera. They didn't even announce that there were other officers at the scene. If there's folks that aren't, how a search warrant's executed is not just common knowledge. So there's a lot of the public that probably just thought 3 people went to hit the house for a search warrant, none of them wearing body cameras, they all shot. They didn't tell us who else was there. They won't tell us now why the ones that are supposedly there on paper wear body cameras every other day, but supposedly just didn't have them on that night. They won't tell us a lot, and I think that corruption is going to be a predominant theme, especially when these files get released. I think that we have a rogue unit there, and I think that when you're seeing most of these police situations, that the priority becomes keeping our officers protected over giving the public the truth. We've already seen so much of it. The public has. It seems like everything that comes out, unfortunately, is like, really? Again? We got an incident report here that says that there was no injuries, no forced entry. Really? Is this what you intended to actually make part of your internal file? And I think that that's why really, you have to have a zero tolerance policy for corruption, but you also have to have a zero tolerance policy for officers that know about the corruption and hold it in. Something has to be done to where these officers know point blank that you might believe in that blue line, you're going to lose your job if you don't speak up. And ultimately right now, we've got, again, 1,500 folks out there, and none of them have had the courage to speak up and say, listen, shit went down wrong that night, and I'm tired of waiting. I know that these officers right here are going to have issues with it, but here's what went down. And you know what? People start to assume the worst when you won't talk about it.
Right.
That's another problem that I wish this administration would remember, is that if you just stay hush and all of a sudden these dots start connecting, we're going to find out so much more than if you just came out the next day and said, you know what? A woman is dead and we feel terrible because XYZ happened, and you better believe we're going to hold these officers accountable. you better believe we're going to do whatever we can to make sure it doesn't happen again. And by God, we could have done better.
So then the question comes up, then can you ask him why the judge signed the...
Yeah, so there's a good article that came out the other day. It's an opinion piece in the Courier. It was actually written by Judge Charles Cunningham in here. He made a very good point. He said, listen, here's the deal. And the public probably needs to know this, first and foremost. Every time you get a warrant, you're actually signing for it. Now, part of the issues that I have with search warrants are that you've got, now all of a sudden you got 4 originals just floating out there with 4 different signatures on it. None of them are getting filed with the court until after they're executed. And you don't have officers initialing each page like a judge should, and like an officer should. If you're going to swear to something, you need to swear to every single page in there. Point being, though, is you're getting all these warrants, all these affidavits. What Judge Cunningham said is, listen, our practice is that we go through all of these warrants before we start signing anything. And then we're going to sign them almost like closing documents when you buy a house. You know, you're going to go through and sign it. So, yeah, when you look at that time frame, it was 12 minutes, 5 no-knock warrants. And, you know, what Judge Cunningham said is, listen, you know, I've worked next door to Judge Shaw for years. I've heard her going through these in detail. It takes time to go through and just start signing all of these things. You know, that, let's hope that these weren't all reviewed in 12 minutes.
What's the normal time frame for those warrants to be filed after signing?
It's a good question. So we have some issues in this case because all of the warrants were filed on March 19th, except for Breonna's, which was filed on April 3rd. So it's like, come on, you know, like what took you so long to put, why did it take you 3 weeks to put Breonna's in the record, but you only needed 6 days for all the other ones? And when you take out the weekends, you needed like, what, 3 days? So I don't know the answer to that. I can tell you with the warrants that we have, there are some that get filed way later. There are some that get filed way earlier. The execution is what's important. So here you have a search warrant that was, search warrants that were signed from 12:25 to 12:37 p.m. Very, very, very rarely do these warrants get executed so late at night. People might have this misconception, and it's different from when you're talking about a SWAT warrant, or if you're talking about something where you get the intelligence at 1 a.m. and you need to hit that warrant quickly. People probably think that all these warrants are covert, hit them while they're asleep. No, I mean, they hit this house at 12:45. We looked at every warrant from this year. We found only one other one that was hit after midnight all year. Now, what I'm pretty confident the evidence is going to show you all is that they weren't supposed to hit it that late. They couldn't find a guy. And all of a sudden they get into panic mode because they'd already missed him 3 days prior, and they get desperate. And all of a sudden, you know, when it went from 2 guys sitting out there watching Breonna's place to them generating this fabricated notion that maybe he was there. He wasn't.
Do you think that the judge was misled, or do you think it was more like negligence?
Do I think the judge was misled, or do I think it was negligence? We know the judge was misled because she signed a warrant saying that that there was sworn information from this guy that he'd gotten information from the postal inspector that didn't happen. So she was, not only was she misled, I mean, that's fraudulent misrepresentation right there. I mean, if anything, it's an affidavit. Now, I don't get into, I'm not going to say perjury or anything like that. I'm not a criminal, you know, I'm not a criminal guy.
No, but a former judge just said that the officers actually also sign an affidavit that they're telling the truth when they fill out the warrant.
That's exactly right. So no, I don't think the judge was misled. I think she was misled. I don't think that she was negligent. You have to assume it. Think about it. If you got 5 no-knock search warrants in here, you can't read a sentence and say, really? You already swore that this was true, but really, is this true? No, you have to trust a peace officer who is required by law under a sworn affidavit, just like we all would be.
Right.
Put something there that it's true. I mean, you have to do that.
Still curious to know why the ambulances were sent away before they went into the apartment and the person who made that decision.
Sure. So we know that from what it looks like, Breonna's warrant was never supposed to be game on. Only when they couldn't find this dude that they were looking for did they just get desperate and say, well, you know, we could come up with some reason to hit Breonna's house. Maybe he's in there, and if he is, great. We get strike gold. If not, no worries. But that was their only reason, was this guy. And you good? Everything good?
Yeah, I just want to know if these guys want to ask you questions too, because they have not had a chance to do it yet.
So anyways, it looks like finally, you know, they can't get eyes on the ex-boyfriend, who's, by the way, 5 minutes away from the house, this kid's mother's house. But they can't get eyes, so it looks like they say, game on. We're going to go hit Breonna's place. You look at the warrant whiteboard, you see a lot of evidence of that.
Explain the whiteboard, Sam.
Sure. So if you go back, you got to look at Tom Wine's presentation. He puts up a whiteboard. That whiteboard is important because, first of all, you have five targets on there. 5 faces. You know whose face isn't on there? Breonna Taylor's.
So it's like the work.
Yeah.
Like on the wall when you get the pictures.
Yep, exactly. So what you got to do before you just go hit a house? I mean, you got to brief for it. You got to make sure you know your operations plan, your intelligence is good, because search warrants are dangerous, and if you fuck it up, lives are at stake. So, they show us this whiteboard. Breonna's not on there as a target. Then you see, when you look closely to the whiteboard, that the 3 Elliott homes, because let's face it, they got to hit Elliott. I mean, that's their goal. They got to clear out Elliott. I mean, that's the whole objective of this unit. And we got a damn development that's coming in there, and this is a roadblock. So you got all these bodies assigned to Elliott. Over 60 of them assigned to Elliott. But when you look closely at the whiteboard, you can see that the 2 other addresses, one on Muhammad Ali and Breonna's place, only started with 2 people there because they just had to sit in the parking lot and watch it. And if all of a sudden they saw something that suggested those people were there, game on. We know that, they call game on at 11:12 because that's when the CAD sheet shows that the ambulance was called to stage. We also know that ambulance was called off at 11:40, and oh, by the way, that's the same exact time that they told the ex-boyfriend that they got eyes on him at his child's mother's place. So they call it off. Ambulance leaves. We got our guy. No need to go hit Breonna's place. We didn't intend to hit it anyway. Here's where it gets dicey. We've got the ex-boyfriend's Snapchat showing the timestamp from when he got back to his house. Okay? So, I know you start reading this and you wonder, what's the evidence to connect these dots? Is this just some crazy story? No. Do we have body cameras? No. Do I wish we did? Yes, because that would show us point blank what time everybody was where. So right now, we've got a timestamp document that shows when he gets home. He sits in his car for 10 minutes, goes into his house, and we got multiple people in that house saying they hit us right away. So we're right around midnight there. But you know who's not there? 2 of their targets. One of whom is on Breonna's search warrant. Shouldn't have been on the search warrant. She had no relationship with him at all. No history with him. But at that point, you got to clear out Elliott, and you got to clear out the people that are associated with, staying at Elliott.
Why did officers not
Hold
go
on,
into...
hold on.
Yep, go ahead.
Sorry, that was kind of rude.
No, it's okay. You go ahead.
Finish the thought.
Do you know where the guy on the warrant at Elliott was the whole time?
Jail,
In
right?
custody?
No. So they get the ex-boyfriend. They take them out. We got him, but oh my gosh, we missed 2 of the other ones. He's at the house of the other warrant, right around the corner, where they were supposed to have 2 eyes and where they'd hit that house before. So instead of going to the house where he is at, where they're supposed to have eyes, they go to Breonna Taylor's house. Now, this individual's last name is also Walker. But it's not, his first name's not Kenny, it's Adrian Walker. He's not related to Kenny at all. And we think the evidence is going to show that the surveillance was so sloppy that because they didn't know vehicles, they associated one of the vehicles that belonged, they associated Kenny Walker's vehicle and thought it was Adrian Walker's vehicle. Run the tag, get a Walker. Matches his vehicle. They both actually drove the same make and model. Totally different years though, 9 years apart. I cut you off. What you
No,
got
I
next?
just asked, the question is, why didn't officers go into Breonna Taylor's apartment? That was the question that was being asked. And then there's a question about Joshua James.
Well, let's start with that first question.
Yep.
Why didn't the officers go into Breonna Taylor's apartment? There had been a gunshot. They did have an officer outside that was injured. Kenny Walker, immediately when he was asked to comply, did comply. So ultimately, I've never been a police officer. Part of the reason that you got SWAT units, it seems like, to serve warrants is because they are trained extensively for situations like this.
Yes.
Rather than a skeleton crew that you had to put together on the fly, then disassemble, then put together on the fly to go out to this house. And we know that they didn't adequately prepare for it. We know that because they had no idea what the configuration was of the apartment. They didn't know the address of the apartment afterwards. They started reporting 3007 to everybody. So if you're supposed to go through this sophisticated hour briefing of a search warrant, you don't miss things like that. But you had a shot fired in there. But death certificate says she lived, for another 6 minutes, and the situation was diffused well before that. And ultimately, you also knew that you shot somebody in there. But again, they kept asking Kenny Walker afterwards where the other man was in there. So that's bad. Their intelligence was so bad. So they keep asking Kenny Walker if there's another man in there, a white man. And, you hear this stuff and you're just sitting there saying, why in the world would you ever authorize the execution of this warrant? Because you know who wasn't there? Janiyah, 20-year-old sister. You know where Janiyah stays every night? There. She lives there, but she happened to be out of town. You know who would be dead right now if she was there? Is Janiyah, because her room got shot up like crazy. You know who else wasn't there? The 2-year-old girl that stays there all the time for them when they're babysitting and watching her.
Yep.
So, there was no reason for them to be there. No reason.
Sam, what do you personally think is going on with these funny timelines? And we also know that there are documents out there that seem to be carbon copies of each other with a time listed and then a time is written over.
Sure.
And also, what do you actually think the officers were doing at the time that Kenny Walker was dialing 911 and they fled the scene? Where do you think they were at, in your opinion?
Okay.
And what was going on?
All right. So my memory sucks. So let's start with the last question.
I think your memory's pretty good. We'll just keep asking the questions.
Starting with, what do we think the officers were doing?
Yes. At the time that Kenny Walker was calling 911.
So we've got,
because they should have still been on the scene.
Yeah, we think that, first of all, again, let's be clear. We've got videos from after, not from LMPD, but from the neighbors, that show basically, we've got a timeline on video from 12:52, which is 5 minutes after he calls 911 to about 1:02 when SWAT's about to make entry. We know that they did load up Mattingly, several of them, take him in a car, take him to the end of the road right there. But we also know that wasn't all the officers involved. We got a lot more people out there than, again, it wasn't 3. I mean, we know that at least by the time these videos are starting up, we got at least 15 out there. Now, granted, some of them might have arrived on scene afterwards. So what I think that they were doing, number one, I think that they were panicking. Number two, I think that they knew that they had some explaining to do. And number three, they were potentially wondering where the hell the second guy was.
Yep.
If not, and I mean, Kenny hadn't shot by that point. The issue that I have is that Kenny calls 911 at 12:46, okay? Kenny doesn't exit until like 12:52. But they must have had no shit moment when, first of all, 911 dispatch is reaching out to them and saying there's somebody alive in there. They just shut up the place. I mean, they probably didn't think anybody was still living. The second problem they got is that they probably realized that the guy that was in there saying he's Kenny Walker is somebody they've never heard of. They have no clue who he is, and they're going to themselves, who the hell is Kenny Walker? Oh my God.
Again, man,
That right there is the reason why that it's bogus that they keep saying they can't fire the cops. They'd rather have people in the streets for over a month instead of firing these cops for incompetence. Everything you explained, like from the faulty police report, from just shooting blindly into the apartment, to the no-knock warrant, the manipulation of the no-knock warrant. I don't understand why they can't just fire them for incompetency.
Well, let me address.
FOP that strong?
Let me address that, and then we'll go back
to the carbon copies.
Yeah, to the carbon
And then we'll
copies.
go back to
Okay,
Joshua James.
All right. Well, that's
Sorry about
information.
that.
No, but you're
Hope
good.
you're planning on spending the day with us.
So the question there was basically, how come that alone didn't get them out immediately and saying, regardless of the shooting itself, this incompetence was so reckless that these officers should be fired, right? That's essentially what you said.
You'd rather have this than just fire some cops that
There's,
fucked up.
There's two sides to every story. Let's see if the officers came out and actually admitted to this stuff. We've seen police investigations before. I bet we've already heard from one of the officers that they only thought the female was in the house. The evidence does not suggest that one bit, okay? Literally, they're asking Kenny Walker afterwards where the other male is in the house. But I think that there's going to be some issues that I hope are looked into by the feds about what was said afterwards as to what happened versus what the evidence shows as to what happened. Going back to the documents that probably were addressed in our amended complaint, I think is what we're talking about, were essentially the timeline. So it looks like, and granted our evidence suggests completely otherwise, but it looks like the story, at least from LMPD trying to put out, is, hey, we hit that warrant across town on Elliott at 12:40. That's what they put on their warrant execution form. That's also what they put on their second warrant execution form. It's also what they put on their arrest citation. The arrest citation has a time crossed out and 12:40, or military time 40 written in. The warrant execution form that was filed with the court has the time crossed out and has 0040 left in. But the one that was left with Jamarcus Glover has 12 written in, plain as day, and then real faintly has the 40 written in after that. We think that there's some issues there based upon the Snapchat that we have, based upon conversations with multiple people at the house. Everybody who is at Elliott that I've spoken with says we were detained and when we were taken outside, we were detained, and we were out there for 40 to 45 minutes before all of a sudden we started hearing about the incident on Springfield. If they were really hit at 12:40, by the time they were actually rounded up, gathered, and put outside, Springfield shooting's already taken place. Breonna's already shot. So these folks, their memory is either totally wrong, or that timeline that was put out to us was totally wrong.
Yeah, because I actually lived there, and I was there that night when everything happened. And yeah, 12. That makes more sense what you're saying.
Way closer to 12.
Way closer to 12 because I actually had a live video of that night, and we can't find that live video anywhere. And the only reason I think that the reason why it disappeared, there was an officer there that, and I don't know who the officer was, but his daughter goes to school with my daughter. And he recognized me, and he said, hey, ain't you such and such as mom? And I said, yeah. And I said, hey, what happened? He said, a drug dealing girl shot the police. And I was like, really?
That was the narrative right away.
Right, that was the narrative right away. And I was like, are you serious? And he was like, yeah, never mentioned of anything else, but that's what was mentioned. And it was on my live, and we cannot find that live anywhere.
So were there security cameras that were taken as evidence, and where is that footage? Do we have any idea?
Yeah, so there's two things. There's two things that happened here. One of which would make a lot of sense. The other one would really piss people off. There was that pole camera that was sitting up on Elliott. Did you ever see that camera?
Yeah, I've seen it.
So you saw the camera. So right at 24th and Elliott, they put up this camera right there to literally watch these few houses that were actually occupied on Elliott. That camera watched it 24/7. So what I've got a problem with the warrants is that if you've got this surveillance footage watching Elliott 24/7, and you're going to cite things, put the actual damn pictures in there that show versus what you're saying. But second of all, they've got the timeline because literally that camera recorded everything that went down on Elliott. Now, one of two things that happened, a few days after the shooting, that camera magically is taken down. Now, let's hope to God it was taken down for purposes of the investigation of the shooting of Breonna Taylor. But another one wasn't put up, and they're still hitting that house a month later for more warrants, and it's still apparently, a goal of these officers to clean house. So why was another one not put up? Why do you take this one down? Let's hope they took it down because they were building a timeline. It'd be nice if we knew.
Is Attorney General Cameron communicating with anyone regarding the status of their investigation? That's from Lisa Marie.
So we've never talked to Attorney General Cameron, not once. But he does have a nice woman. I'll take this. This is good.
Okay.
He's got a nice woman prosecutor and a nice guy working for him. I've spoken with them a few times. They won't go into details, but they'll basically say still going, still going. Let's hope.
And that's what people want to know. Why is it taking so long?
It'd be nice to know. It would have been nice if a few weeks ago, when Cameron gave that press conference, if he would have actually stepped up and instead of saying, "Can't answer that. That's pending. Can't answer that." All that does is frustrate the public.
And a follow-up to that, hang on one second, Shay, is that there's been a lot of discussion about what happens when the verdict comes down from him, that there will not be charges, and that these police officers who are really the center reason for the protests are not going to be charged. You know, what is the strategy plan for how to deal with the reaction that the city will have to that judgment? And that's what a lot of folks are worried about, including, you know, anyone who's lived here for a long time, anyone who considers Louisville their home. You know, what's the strategy plan to get people aware of what may happen so that protesters and everyone else can prepare the city
for this next wave?
For this next wave, exactly.
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, you know, you gotta plan, you gotta hope for the best and plan for the worst. Let's hope he does the right damn thing and they actually charge. Then all of a sudden, maybe the city will actually celebrate a little bit for the first time in a while, and will feel vindicated for these protests and everything else. In terms of if they come down without charges, that's a scary day to think about. But you know, they got to do what's right. They've got a lot of evidence. They better be pretty damn prepared to present everything. You know, transparency is so key, because if you are just giving a Tom Wine, Cliff's Notes version of what happened and not telling everybody everything, then that's when the public is going to get so furious when other things come out. So I really hope to God that when that presentation is made, that it's not just simple, we have decided based on, you know, our review to do X or Y. I hope at that point they finally go out and say, hey, you've been waiting long enough. Now all of a sudden, you know, we've got our case to prove. Here's how we're going to prove it. Here's the evidence. Here's what they did wrong. Here's what we're charging them with and why.
Okay, Shay, go. So here's kind of a follow-up. It kind of ties in line. If and when, if these police are fired and or prosecuted or not, do you think that they will, especially the prosecutor, go back through their career histories and look at every case they've touched and investigate? Are we looking at a major opening of cases and LMPD corruption? Yes, I'm on that one today.
Let's put it this way. Are we looking at a case of major investigations to expose corruption? If evidence from the federal civil rights standpoint starts to unload a trail of more bad warrants, of more obstruction of justice, and things like that, then I hope to God that you go after every single layer. And that's what people need to realize too about what we're trying to do right now. So again, this whole narrative of, oh my gosh, you know, now this is all about gentrification. We're looking to see where everything started, because we had questions about this police unit. Why were they even formed? So obviously then, you know, our intelligence tells us that it's formed basically to target Elliott Avenue. Why was it formed to target Elliott Avenue? Well, then we see all these homes torn down. Why were these homes torn down? Then all of a sudden we see, you know, Office of Community Development has a project going on. How far are they in that project? We see it, collaborative effort with UK. You know, when is this going to get in the works? Or is this just another Vision Russell that's going to be on the books for the next 5 years and then disappear? We've got credible evidence that shows that, first of all, they're tearing down every damn house, so we know that they need to make it happen. But second of all, we got credible evidence that the goal is to get that, you know, enroll, you know, to get the contracts in place this year. So then, you know, okay, well, how were they doing? You know, how was this unit policing? Well, gosh, we start looking at the history of these folks they were going after. They were policing pretty damn aggressively. Again, if your sole or primary mission each day is to get people out of some houses and make a street safe, and it's a small street with most people already out of the street to begin with, you were just told to over-police the hell out of that place. And then our question is, okay, well, why no-knock warrants? You know, and we go through that. And then it's, why is Breonna Taylor involved in these no-knock warrants? And we go through that. And then it's, why does this timestamp right here tell us, you know, that it was called on for an ambulance at 11:12 and then ambulance is gone at 11:39? Why they end up at her house? And that's how we have to connect these dots. And it sucks because you should just be able to watch a couple of hours of camera footage in this day and age and connect the damn dots that way and not have to use circumstantial evidence when you got hard evidence.
Sam, looking at the situation with Russell Vision and the new revelations that we found out, much of the public is dismayed the city's position now how they're handling that situation. So moving forward, in your opinion, do you think the city should still be involved in this project? Because honestly, this is something that the community really can do on their own in redoing the community and making sure it's safe for themselves. So do you think that the city should back up from this program to be involved? Because much of Black Louisville, especially the residents, are saying they do not trust this program now because of the new things that come out.
So it's a good question. I think the city needs to listen to Black Louisville. I think they should have, instead of having, you know, keeping it real, boots on the ground, walking through the neighborhood doing what they were doing, I think that this should have been a transparent, specific proposal. Because we've heard about Vision Russell for a while, but had anybody here heard that they were tearing down houses on Elliott to put in a development there?
And forcing people to move out in the way that they're doing it.
Yeah,
This is like the airport. You remember when the airport was building a new runway?
And they were forcing people to sell land.
So that's what's frustrating about it to me is that if you're going to go in and you're going to execute a vision for the community and you actually have things in place, where can we find it? I mean, I challenge you to get on Google today and find anything about these homes being torn down in Elliott. Read the Vision Russell plan. It says something about Elliott Park, and that's it. It doesn't say we've identified 3 city blocks that we've decided to be incredibly violent that we're going to just tear down and build up. So what interactions with the community might have said is we feel very unsafe in this part of town. You know, there are certain housing developments right now that a lot of families in there are probably forced to live there and don't feel as safe as they should in there. That seems like where something you could go in and really try to make these folks feel safe. I don't think, based upon talking to the folks that are still left on Elliott Avenue, that they feel unsafe. I think that what you'll actually find, ironic enough as it is, that these boys living at this house cut all the grass, that even the vacant lots they were cutting the grass. Have you ever seen those boys over there?
They cut mine.
They cut the grass. They cut your grass. They cut everybody's grass. And I'm not calling them heroes.
Right.
What I'm telling you is that all of a sudden now you drive over there, the grass isn't cut. And my understanding is that the last month has been more violent than in recent history on Elliott. So here you go. You had, you know, your whole goal is to remove violent crime and put in nice houses, and you really target certain people, and then those people leave. And all of a sudden, your grass isn't getting cut, and violence is starting to spread over there.
Yeah.
That's not the way this is supposed to work. So to go back, let's start with this. If you got money to put into West Louisville, and you're going to do it the right way, that is wonderful. I mean, Walmart was a letdown. Passport was a letdown, and we can keep going through and saying there's a lot of letdowns. So you got a lot of money still to spend over there in a little bit of time. So things need to happen. Shouldn't Black Louisville get a voice in it? And it shouldn't just, and to me, you know.
Should they do it? Shouldn't they be given the money to do it? That could very well happen as well.
Absolutely. I mean, look at businesses that were able to stay afloat because of a paycheck protection program. You know, there's ways to, you just have to try. You know, I mean, when all of a sudden you're doing these quiet things and stuff is in motion that they won't even talk to Louisville, let alone Black Louisville about, that's gotta feel like a betrayal. I don't know. You know, I just, it's
sure.
You know, it's, if you got this money and you got this $1 billion investment in West Louisville, but West Louisville doesn't know where that money's going, and they've seen a vague vision, but they don't know the actual execution of the plan, that's just gotta feel like a betrayal of trust.
Sam, is the motion of discovery available to the public?
What do you mean by motion of discovery?
She's saying, does discovery go both ways, I guess? That's what the question is.
Oh, okay, cool. I was gonna get mad at you for using words that.
No, I'm asking you questions my viewers have for you. I'm not thinking of any of these myself.
I'm gonna answer the question the best I think it's supposed to be. So, are motions of discovery available? I would interpret that one of two ways. In a civil case, obviously, we get to ask questions, ask for documents, and they get to do that to us too. Because of the stage of this case right now, we are not a formal discovery phase. We do have subpoena power.
Got it.
And that's the issue right now is what can we subpoena? What do we need to subpoena? We've sent out several, but now that we're under a protective order, and now that the dots are connecting a little bit more, it's kind of changed what we need to get. I'd love to get some damn body camera. I'd love to get some radio audio.
Yep. Can you talk about the Janes, Joshua Janes?
I mean, what I can say is that Joshua Janes is one of these 6 officers that was on this unit to target Elliott. What I can say is that
Who's Joshua James?
he's the one who wrote the warrants.
Oh.
I mean, what I can say about him too is that I'm real interested to see what his response is as it relates to the information on this warrant compared to what we've been told, the public, by the postal inspector. What I can also say is that he got suspended for one reason or another, and you know, one thing that is interesting is that those letters that suspend you, they should give some details. I actually don't think I've tried to get the actual letters that say why they were suspended, because there's supposed to be letters that say why they're being suspended. Now the other ones, it was protocol because it's an officer-involved shooting, so it's a mandatory, administrative leave. They could have said that for him, but maybe they said something else. But obviously there was something in what they had obtained that provoked him to be suspended.
Sam, with you going through this experience with the Breonna Taylor case, as a lawyer and as a person, how has this shaped you in your career? How has it changed, or has it changed?
Yeah, so
Great question.
yeah, it's I'd never talked on social media about our cases before. I've always been quietly frustrated when things come out, and they're there, but I've never actually voiced it to the public. I've just fought harder to go get it for discovery. As a lawyer, I've actually probably raised my voice on this case a little bit too much. Everybody's done such an amazing job, and frankly, I probably should have kept my mouth shut at some times when I didn't. It's just when you meet Tamika Palmer and you learn about her and you see that everything about her is so beautiful and so genuine. When you go through a scrapbook that Breonna Taylor has done and you actually see who she was firsthand, what she had to say, all the pictures of her and her family, and talking about her mom was her inspiration, everything, and talking about how her mission was to take care of her sister, and how she was the first one in her family to graduate on time, and it doesn't change you as a lawyer, but by God, it makes you want to be on the front line of change, and you just know that this shouldn't have happened, and you know how preventable it was, and you know that it's been buried and covered up for so long that you've walked that fine line between, wanting to be the most zealous advocate you can for that family, and wanting to just stand up and scream and say, what the fuck, I mean, what is going on, and how you guys wonder why we don't trust, and why we have issues, and, so I don't even know if I answered the question.
Yeah, you did. You did an excellent job. I'm gonna take it completely off the topic for just a minute.
I got to roll too. So.
I know you do. WFPL's investigative reporting team just did a story about the massive amount of social media surveillance that is being conducted by LMPD. I wonder if you've seen the article, if you have a response or a reaction to that story.
No, I mean, I haven't seen the article. I mean, let's face it, it's a social media era. If you were to look into LMPD over the past few years, they had a heavy investment into social media surveillance software, so that wasn't implemented in relation to the situation now. I just hope they're using it for the right reasons. Let's face it, we all do social media surveillance. I mean, I'm a civil lawyer, and if I can't get discovery, obviously if there's somebody I need to know about, I mean, I'm going to look for social media. It seems like it cuts both ways. If you're using social media to get potential leads for crime deterrent,
Yes.
terrorist infiltration, things like that.
Yes,
It is something you have to do.
absolutely.
If you're doing it to identify where peaceful protests are going to be taking place, if you are doing it to know where certain people are going to be that pose no threat, if you were doing it to try to conjure up justification as to why you're doing something that's not truly legitimate, that's a problem. But at the end of the day, I'd be disappointed if our law enforcement wasn't using social media to go after credible leads and go after, being proactive in terms of crime handling. But there's a big difference between being proactive in terms of crime handling and just wanting to make sure where you could be on scene to get some protesters out that are doing everything right, and to get some live media casters out that are doing everything right.
Maxwell, did you have any questions before we go? You're good?
Yeah.
Every-
Time for one question.
Yeah.
Well, Maxwell has to ask.
Oh, you did.
Oh, you did say yes?
No, I thought you said
No.
You said you did.
No, my fault.
He says he's good.
He's
My
on
question was just about the you've seen since the George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and just all the police brutality cases over the recent year, you've seen a big movement to defund the police. And what you mean by defunding the police, taking these million-dollar budgets and putting some of that back into the community towards social services like mental health, homelessness,
Substance use disorder.
substance disorders. What's your opinion on that?
Yeah. So.
If you got one.
Oh, I do. I got an opinion about everything, unfortunately. But in terms of, what's my opinion on defunding the police? My first opinion is that whoever came up with the term defunding the police really put a damper on everybody that wants to reallocate funds in our budget to focus more on mental health, crisis intervention, domestic violence, because again, I said this a couple weeks ago, right now you are telling a police officer that he has to play doctor when he arrives on scene and has to save their life, heroin overdose and things like that. You're telling a police officer that they have to play counselor or psychologist when they have to show up in a crisis intervention program and immediately, diffuse these folks and de-escalate a situation. You're telling them they have to play mental health specialist. You're telling them they have to play marital counselor. You're telling them that they have to play hero, but you're also telling them that they have to play professional driver because they're obviously having to go after a lot of these people. That is a lot of hats to wear. So let's not disregard that, and they're having to do it for a base salary that is absolutely ridiculous. Okay, so let's start by saying that you are telling police officers to do so many things with such little training, and part of you wants to say, well, that's what they signed up for. Yeah, it is. But part of you also wants to say, holy shit, if you told anybody they have to do that, they're going to fuck up a lot. And you can't really blame them for that stuff. Obviously, corruption, institutional racism, that's a different story. Brutality, that's a different story. But I think that you have to reallocate resources. I don't think you need to pay officers less. I think you need to pay them more, but I think you need to get out bad apples. I think that if you've got units right now that are literally, you got 6 people to target one street, 3 blocks in Louisville, and you look at just that, the budget for that alone, well, I'm not saying get rid of those guys, but I'm saying, do you need those 6, or would 6 clinical social workers go a lot more way to where all of a sudden, or a couple more paramedics, to where all of a sudden you're responding to a scene and you actually have somebody that literally has been through years and years of training to de-escalate domestic violence situations, and where you've got somebody on scene who literally is trained to get right in there and make sure that your life is saved. So police officers have to do a lot with little. I think that we don't need I'd like to see what we spend on a lot of the militarization stuff, fancy helicopters and boats and SWAT vehicles. And I'm sure there's plenty that you can. There's some that you probably sit here and tell me that you do need, but do you really need all of that? And if not, do you need all the people? Like Breonna Taylor's night, Elliot eventually said there were more than 70 people assigned to these units. Do you really need 70 people out there the majority of whom are getting overtime because it's 12 o'clock in the morning, or could you have taken those resources right there and allocated them elsewhere? So I think you need to take a long, hard look at where this money's going, and I think that you certainly need to say, do we need this many officers? If not, let's let them retire and not beg them to stay. Let's take better care of our current officers in terms of money. Let's make sure that when they wake up every day, they know that that it is a privilege to work for this city, and that if they don't recognize that privilege, they're gone, because we're actually going to have other people that want to come in and recognize that privilege and recognize that pay and recognize that commitment. And so yeah, do I think that you should reallocate some resources there? Sure. Do I hate the word defund because of immediately it's like you hear that on the other side, and it's like, really? You're telling us you don't need any police and we just need to take away all money for it? So no, but we're saying we do want to look at that budget, and we do want to see where some of that money goes. And ultimately, at the end of the day, don't you think it would be nice if these officers didn't have to play doctor and all this other things every single day?
Absolutely.
Yeah, because some of us advocates that work in homelessness and domestic violence and human trafficking, I'm perfect for that. You know what I mean? In a human trafficking situation, when you have a victim that is in serious trauma and may have all kinds of things going on, or you have a homeless situation where you can go and to go help with that situation. I think that, because I agree with you, I think we have made them to be the frontliners to everything, and where we could have some community people step in and also help with that. And I think that would save a lot of lives and get a lot of people done, and then we could take some of that budget and put some of those resources would help with some of our problems in our city.
Yeah, just imagine a community where you weed out the bad officers and the corruption.
Right.
You weed out the officers that have implicit bias and racism. You keep and reward the good officers that really have the good intentions, and you surround them with other individuals that are specialized and trained to deal with some of these situations.
That's community police.
Well, and in all honesty, I'm very proud of the fact that when I worked at Bridgehaven Mental Health Services, I contributed to the crisis intervention team training for the Louisville Police Academy. And I know from a fact that I do homeless outreach that a lot of those folks came out on the street with that knowledge, and it changed the way they dealt with people experiencing homelessness, those with mental illness and those with substance use disorder. So that can work. It also, in your statement, is very clear, adds to the responsibility. And there are people who are trained social workers, who are mental health workers, who could come out and who could work hand in hand and accomplish so much more if those things could be funded.
And culture is so important, I don't know if any of you had this experience, but I remember one time when I moved to a new school, I was in 8th grade, and I literally came from Rhode Island down to Western Kentucky. And, starting out, first day at a new school, gosh, is there anybody around here that just I can talk to that'll accept me? And the people that talked to me and accepted me, gosh, I was so thrilled. They were also the ones that were kind of bullying and committing some vandalism and everything. But I needed friends. I couldn't be alone at school, so all of a sudden I'm trying to fit in, and here I am in 8th grade ending up spending the night in jail one night. And I'm not saying that, let's put it this way, when you bring new officers in, they have to be able to have those new friends and that new system that are the ones doing things right. Because if you put him in and you bring him in immediately, and his PTO or his first, squad that he works with are doing the things on the wrong side, well, he can either fit in, or he can go, feel like he's alone all day. And so we got to weed out. We got to bring in good. We got to reward the ones that we got right now and put those in the leadership positions. We can talk about this all day.
Thank you for your time, Sam. We appreciate you. Every single person on here has said thank you so much for killing yourself to make this happen.
Thank you so much.
Oh man, thank you all so much. I get all the credit for killing it to make it happen, but look who's out here every single day, first thing in the morning, and look who is the last one to leave each night. So y'all don't thank me for a thing. This is y'all.
Sam Aguiar, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much.
All right, darling. First of all, thank you all for tuning in. I need you to do something for me. I'm all about making sure you get a true narrative, that we go right to the source, we ask the questions, we have the conversations. A situation like this, because I've had the opportunity to previously interview with Sam, I knew that he would be very informative. So I really didn't have too many questions. Hopefully, if you are tuned in late, you can go back to the live and catch some of the answers to some of the questions I see popping up. And that's why a lot of them I didn't ask, only because he addressed them earlier. You're welcome to go back, but I will come through later. Here's the thing. I need you guys to do me 2 favors. One, share this live, invite folks, because the true narrative has to be told. I don't know what you'll get on Wave and LKYNW. I don't know. But I know what you got here today. Also, it's a call to action. There's a need for some of the groups down here at 6th and Jefferson for donations, water, food. I know for a fact Jeff Gill, who feeds the homeless, Hip Hop Cares, he is having to omit his breakfast because of supplies. I need you guys to get up, get out and do something. I know we talk about this often, but you have to understand, media, everybody, we're in this together. Come down and be a part. Donate. Come down here to the square. I want you to sit down, relax, catch the vibe, and then I want you to get in where you fit in. I want you to talk to one of these groups and see where you can help, because this is an issue that it's more complex than you think. There are many layers to it, and it impacts each and every one of them. Now, I normally like to turn the camera around, spend a minute with you guys, so y'all do get a minute of no makeup me because it's hot as all. It's 80s out here, so I got to change my life because I can't go to hell. But I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you stay locked in today for the rest of my lives, and share the lives. I love you guys.
All right. I actually didn't think that was going to go on as long as it did, but I'm actually glad that it did. If you haven't seen... Hold on. Don't think any of these people... Yeah, nobody else is currently streaming anything else. But if you all haven't seen the mural that they did... This was a really good interview, which I have posted to my Twitter as well, following Sam's link. And then this mural, which is just gorgeous. Let me see, does that show the whole thing? Yeah. With doggos in the way. That's kind of cut off. I mean, his photo's cut off. But up there in the top left-hand corner is David, which I also shared to Twitter when he was streaming. But this is a fantastic thing, and another reason why I will never, and I really should never, go to social media, the new social media web pages, and look at the comments. Because most of the comments were, well, somebody's going to tag that in a week. Gotta take it down. Like, just, people suck. I think that's it for right now for the coverage stuff. I'm going to take a break, go outside with the dogs for a little bit. This room is about to be super empty. And then we'll go ahead and hop over to the game. State of Mind, I believe. So thanks, guys, for hanging out for that. If you were interested. Also, it's all in the VOD, so you can obviously go back and watch the beginning. So that was, what, an hour and like 45 minutes? Yeah, total of about an hour and 45 minutes total. So, I'm going to leave you all with some music. Which you can hear through my speaker here. I still haven't fixed that yet. Okay. I'll be back in a few minutes. See you all in a bit. Or see you all later. If video games are not your thing. Alright. The dogs, they're still outside, which they'll probably come back inside in a couple of minutes. Probably. So I'll have to get up. Let's see, this is our browser, this is our game. We can turn down and off la musique. I actually want to see if there's some audio coming from this. Okay, I can hear it now. So, I meant to look up to see if there was anything about this game that I needed to know. And I started it for a few minutes. And then that's it. So, actually, while we're at it, let's just go ahead and look it up right now. It looks very, like, casual gameplay. State of mind. Very polygony with their artistic. Graphic adventure game. It's basically iRobot. Like the movie iRobot. And you'll see why I say that when I start a new game. And I'm gonna go get Jubilee while you all watch the cinematic.
Too high.
And his beta levels?
Too high.
James?
Your son is extraordinarily gifted.
Damn, where have I seen his face before?
That's Richard Nolan, ma'am. He's with The Voice.
Hey Tom, so do you think Antifa is a real terrorist organization?
What's going on? Damn.
And that it's an organization at all. And that it's funded by George Soros.
Mr. Nolan? Richard, can you hear me?
Where am I?
You're in the Central Hospital. Can you open your eyes?
I can't see anything.
Don't worry. Your sight will return soon. A drone found you on the side of the M75. We'll begin with a sight test, and then I'll ask you a couple of questions. I'll create a glowing object in the room now. Do you see that? Try to concentrate your eyes on that object. Good. Again. Very good. Your sight will return to normal soon. We're going to do some tests. Cognitive, emotional, memory. It won't take long. Do you know what date it is?
Know that it is 2048.
Saturday, 11th of January, 2048.
Very good. That's correct. I will now say a short sentence and then ask you a question about it. Ready? My eyes are blue. My hair is brown. My house is white. Which three colors did I mention?
Blue, white, and brown?
Very good, that's right. Can you tell me what happened?
What happened? My family. Where are they?
You can't remember anything?
I was in a car. There was a tunnel.
Give it time. You're in good physical health. You were very lucky, Richard. Now I'm going to reconnect a part of your AR system. Unpleasant, isn't it? Your eyes and your brain will have to get used to it again. Can you stand up? Please follow me to the table.
Timothy Keller. ID. See, this is the future where everybody has an identification. Not done like your social security number.
Take the cube from the left side of the table. Make it glow yellow and place it on the right side of the table.
It's really detailed. Cognition test. This test will help evaluate your cognitive abilities. Please concentrate and follow the instructions given by our clinic personnel.
Okay, we shall do one more test. Please follow me.
In a minute. Do. Examine. This is the encephaloscan. For those of you who don't know, encephalo, it's not the exact term, but it's for head, cranium. Some people don't know how to respect everyone. Sorry for them. Yeah. It's sad. Sad. Last scan person. So we are Richard Nolan. Take care. See ya. Yeah, you too. I have no idea what I'm getting myself into.
Okay. Who is this?
It's my son?
Exactly. What's his name?
I think it said James.
James.
Very good.
Okay.
Where is James? Is he here?
You've already asked about your family, just now. Don't you remember that?
Where is he?
It's just a test, Richard.
James is a good kid. I love him.
Of course you love him. You are his father. Do you get along well? Richard?
He's a good kid.
Do you know this person? Yes?
That's Tracy?
Excellent. Tell me about her.
What do you mean?
Tell me anything about your wife. A memory, a story, anything.
I know that we were in a cab. It was nighttime. We were joking around. I took Tracy's hand.
Keep going.
The onboard systems were malfunctioning. It got colder. The windows got foggy. I told her we were almost there.
Okay. Do you know how long ago this was?
What do you mean?
This memory, how long ago was it?
I don't know.
What about this? Do you recognize this building?
The voice. I think it said that's where he worked.
Yeah, that. I work there.
Excellent, Richard. What do you do there, exactly?
I'm a specialist in... Wait. I write about technology.
Very good. And how would you describe your position on that matter? Do you have one?
I'm a journalist. My position is the truth.
Ah, that came fast. That's the standard line, right? You must say that all the time.
Well, can I go back to work, Doctor?
We'll wait and see. You suffer from amnestic confabulatory syndrome. Memory lapses, confusion, mood swings. But when you're home, you will start to feel better. You'll see. Okay, Richard. You're good to go.
I feel queasy.
It'll go away. Your memory will come back probably within the next few hours. Perhaps not completely, but let's be patient. Well then, I wish you the best.
So, I can go?
Of course. You've been given neurostabilizers. If you have any problems, contact me.
Okay, but I don't remember where.
Oh, yes, of course. You live at the West Plaza, Mr. Nolan. The cab will take you home. The medic bot at the entrance will escort you downstairs.
Downstairs, you say? I wonder if there's anything else I can examine. The controls here are kind of jank. I wonder if it's different for... Yeah, they're not really fluid, even on the keyboard. Our character is very rigid.
Good evening, sir. Follow me. I will escort you downstairs.
Also, this game came out 2 years ago.
This is a news flash from The Voice, your trusted source of news for Berlin and the Western world. There has been yet another bombing at one of Kurtz Robotics' production facilities. This has been the second attack within the last few days. In Nairobi, tensions remain high as fighting between Eastern and Western drone units continues in the mining region, destroying large amounts of natural resources.
I probably have to fix or address the noise gate and suppression issue.
You are at your destination.
Because this mic, all of a sudden, is more sensitive than it used to be.
25 credits.
And I haven't done anything. There's no software for it either.
Sir, please, something to eat?
Bassett Inc. is taking applications now. Valid nanoscan required. Mars, our future. By being a Martian colonist on Red 1, you are helping create a new world. Interested? A nanoscan takes no more than 2 minutes. Start afresh. Decide the future. Be a pioneer.
This also gives me Ad Vitam feels, which is a French show on Netflix. One season.
James?
Very
Good
futuristic.
evening, Richard. I'm Simon, your Base 5 home assistant. Today is January 11th, 2048. It is 7:33 p.m. Room temperature 20 degrees Celsius. You have no more appointments today. Please forgive me. I powered down yesterday.
What the hell?
Is everything okay, sir? Can I bring you anything?
Tracy?
You have new cloud messages.
Where are you going? Come here, I'm trying to
Tracy,
examine
what
you.
is this bot doing here? I told you.
If you like, I can answer that question.
You shut your mouth.
Oh yeah, this is very AppRobot. Base VBot. Registered to Tracy. Tell you about getting a robot. Shards of glass. Potential source of danger, please remove.
There will be time for this tomorrow.
We'll pick it up later. And then later becomes next week, and then next month, and then next year. Window. Fitted with safety glass. So we can only examine the bed. And it tells you last person used. Kind of weird. Has not been used in several days. Everything is microanalyzed. Bicycle. Human-powered transportation device was bought on 5/20/2046. Registered to Richard. Date of last use. Never used. Okay.
Tracy, I want this thing to disappear.
If I may speak, sir.
Shut up,
Sir,
you robot.
Do you not want to know where your family is?
The fuck you mean?
Okay.
Okay, Tracy.
Where is Tracy?
Mrs. Tracy's not in.
Yes, I can see that.
She wanted me to inform you that she went to her parents for the weekend.
Oh, wanted to inform me. Fine, she can stay there. What about James? She took him with her, of course.
Correct, sir. They'll be back tomorrow morning. Should I give you a status update?
You should do nothing.
Alright, so let's do Tracy's
Tracy
intentions.
say why she went to her parents?
How do you mean, sir?
What was her reason?
She only told me to be here for you.
Did Tracy ever visit me in the hospital? Does she even know that I had an accident?
I can't say anything about that, sir.
You can't, or you don't want to.
I don't understand, sir.
Exactly. Completely useless. Simon, who gave you a name anyway?
Linda is online. Or Lydia. Alright, so message 3 from Lydia. Okay, so the first one.
Come on, what's going on? Did something happen? Call me, please.
Okay.
Richard, this is not funny, okay? Pick up now.
Yo, did he have a side chick?
Did I do something wrong? Let's at least talk about it. You can't just... call me back, please. Otherwise, I won't be able to sleep.
Interesting. Alright, so what do we have in here? Obviously, this is an office. Cloud Hub. Your entry to the cloud. This device is registered to. Cannot really read that. All news picks. It's like going through news cycles. Okay. What is this over here? Got a Pulitzer Prize or Pulitzer Prize that Donald Trump so defiantly hates certain reporters for having. Now, let's see. On May 28th, 2037, an investigative reporting for outstanding journalistic work in uncovering the Dronegate affair. Notes written by Walter O'Neill. Richard, you must really take a look at this. This is bigger than Dronegate. Illegible. Probably his signature. And some notes.
That looks interesting, sir. May I ask who created those records?
Walter, my ex-partner. Why are you asking?
Those are some complex structures. He is intelligent.
He was.
Is he dead? I do not have any information about that. I apologize, sir.
No, he's not dead. This stuff here made him crazy. And now he hates me.
I do not understand, sir.
No. How would you? I came out on top. He didn't. That's about the gist of it.
But did you steal his research? Holographic pen board. Privacy settings for my eyes only. Get out of here, robot, so I can look at the pen board. That would help. Okay, piano. Can I play piano? Last tune, 12/21/2039. A lot of stuff happened in 2039.
Sir?
Like, having a robot assistant is like having a stalker. Calibration key. Is that a key or is that a screwdriver? Calibration key belongs to a humanoid bot of the Kurtz Robotic Base V series. Please follow the operations and maintenance manual. Kurtz Robotics takes no responsibility for damage or data loss due to improper repairs. Yeah, it's a screwdriver. Chess. That's an interesting looking board. Shard chess. Kurtz Entertainment Labs Incorporated. James ranks so their son is super smart.
James beat me at chess. He's a clever boy. And very adorable.
What do you know about that?
I play chess at a very high level, sir. The base 5 model...
You have absolutely no idea what adorable even means.
I like your son a lot, and he likes me.
You're a pile of junk. Nothing more.
World map. Geopolitical information has been deactivated for this map. A current map with political borders of the United States of the West can be found at unitedstatesofthewest.org. What? What does that even mean? Books. Upgrade recommended. The content of this analog data medium are out of date. A current digital version is available via Cloud Hub. Cloud Hub will take over everything at some point. Food assembler.
Would you like me to assemble you a meal, sir?
I can do that myself.
Of course you can, sir. I'm just trying to lessen your workload. That's what I'm here for.
Well, you know, if you would, could you wipe my ass, please? Sometimes it's very difficult. Drawings created by James this year. So just 4 days ago.
Your son sends his regards. He drew you a picture. I helped him a little.
Really?
I mean, couldn't he just deactivate the robot? Couldn't he just, like, do that? I mean, that seems like a thing he could do. CleanBot V. Or 5, I guess. Or an autonomous cleaning assistant. Warning, this device is malfunctioning. Oh no. Why don't you fix that? You know, if you're a robot, you should understand other robots. Toy upgrade available. These analog toys are out of date. Analog toys are out of date. Must be digital. Use the cloud. A drawing. Painted at age 5.
Do you not want him to be happy?
Everything okay?
No.
Agreed. The Voice News. Your trusted news source for Berlin and the Western world.
This is a news flash from The Voice, your trusted source of news for Berlin and the Western world. In Berlin, there has been yet another bombing at one of Kurtz Robotics' production facilities. This has been the second attack within the last few days. In Nairobi, tensions remain high as fighting between Eastern and Western drone units continues in the mining region, destroying large amounts of natural resources. The smoke from multiple burning oil wells caused visibility in the region to decrease to almost 0%. In Warsaw, a drone attack by the Eastern Union within the Eastern Security Zone has caused serious damage to the inner city. A 250-story administration building was destroyed by 5 missiles. The Martian colony has begun testing its autonomous energy supply. A representative of the settler group Bassett spoke at a press conference yesterday to make the announcement. According to the Bassett representative, the colony is expected to be autonomous within a few days. In other news, it has been revealed today that last month, cyber criminals hacked the communication service of the cloud. The hackers created vast numbers of false identities and brought them into circulation. Experts believe that either an organized criminal network or foreign secret services are behind the attacks. A high-intensity search is on for the criminals. In the Ukrainian capital Kiev yesterday, a summit of Eastern heads of state.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bust everybody's ears.
Members of the summit reiterated their determination to support and strengthen their fight for natural resources. They endorsed the possible use of weapons of mass destruction. This is a clear escalation of tension between East and West. The President of the United States reacted shortly after with a video message. His avatar reported that the West would be prepared to meet any aggression with suitable measures. He also announced that
His
the Mars
avatar?
colonization program would receive more funding in order to give the citizens of the West a perspective for the future.
Mars, our future. By being a Martian colonist on Red 1, you are helping create a new world.
Is this you? Marset Incorporated are accepting applications now. Valid nanoscan required. A nanoscan takes less than 2 minutes.
Is that it?
This
Like,
is
is
a
it?
news flash from The Voice, your trusted source of news for Berlin and the Western world. In Berlin, there has been yet another bombing at one of Kurtz Robotics'
Yeah, okay. I
production
just wanted to hear
facilities.
all of it.
This has
Sometimes there's limited information that the producers put in. Oh, this is a treadmill? That's weird. Why is there a back to it? It actually seems kind of dangerous because if you fall, you're gonna hit the back and then just keep going. Okay, nanoscan report. Berlin, Tracy. Genetic defects, 0%. Genetic caution pattern, 0%. difference to HapMap 3 ideal coefficient 0% appropriation results.
A nanoscan? That Mars nonsense. Can't she listen to me for once?
Man. Are we racist or what? Or is it colonist? I don't know anymore. Wardrobe. Regarding this piece of furniture has been deactivated by Tracy.
Huh. Almost empty.
That's right.
It's a wonderful family, sir.
You think?
You should take good care of them.
You think? Alright, so is there any interesting? Smart home version, no updates. So I can... What is that? Huh. It's a pretty interestingly shaped tub. Pretty normally shaped shower. It's got one of those unique shower heads on it, though. Which do exist at this point in time. They do not have a toilet closet. And that's apparently something that rich people have. I say that, but there's a lot of people who are not... A lot of houses now that actually have toilet closets. I'm not a fan. It looks weird to me. And they're always so tiny, so I feel claustrophobic. Apartment door. Risk of break-ins very low. The security system. Store meets all standards of the United States of the West. Well, we're supposed to be in Berlin, so is Berlin a part of the United States of the West?
Out of my way.
Wait a minute. Let's look at this map again. So, like, all the white parts are the United States, and then all the dark parts are the United States of the West? Although it looks a little far. Use his head here. So, like, say this area is Germany. And he moved again. Anyway. Where his hair is sticking out on that side. Well, no, that would be the east. Technically. No, that would be the west. So Berlin, or just say Germany in general, is a part of the United States of the West. The fuck happened? Alright, can we talk to him again?
Out of my way. What? Out of my way.
Can I leave? I think I've interacted with everything. I can't leave. Can I sleep? Okay, we've interacted with this. We've interacted with this. We've interacted with that. We've interacted with the bike. Should I interact with the notes again? Okay, there we go. Tracy got herself scanned for Mars. Oh, that's it. Okay. Let me see if I can talk to the bot again. Okay, or not. Okay, so that's like tones. I'm sure you could play. Okay, so the weird thing is, this particular scene reminds me of an Evanescence song. So you could probably recreate that song here. I don't know if it's a lithium. He's just gonna say what? God damn. He's just so angry. He needs to go back to sleep. That's what he needs to do.
The following ingredients are missing to assemble this product. Honey, wheat, palm oil.
Honey, wheat, and palm oil? Is there anything else in here? I mean, wardrobe we already interacted with. I guess we can interact with the voice again.
In Nairobi, tensions remain high as fighting between eastern and western drone units continues in the mining region, destroying large amounts of natural resources. The smoke from multiple burning oil wells caused visibility in the region to decrease to almost 0%. In Warsaw, a drone attack by the Eastern Union within the Eastern Security Zone has caused serious damage to the inner city. A 250-story administration building was destroyed by 5 missiles. The Martian colony has begun testing its autonomous energy supply. A representative of the settler group Bassett spoke at a press conference yesterday to make the announcement. According to the Bassett representative, the colony is expected to be autonomous within a few days. In other news, it has been revealed today that last month, cyber criminals hacked the communication service of the cloud. The hackers created vast numbers of false identities and brought them into circulation. Experts believe that either an organized criminal network or foreign secret services are behind the attacks. A high-intensity search is on for the criminals. In the Ukrainian capital Kiev yesterday, a summit of Eastern heads of state has ended. The members of the summit reiterated their determination to support and strengthen their fight for natural resources. They endorsed the possible use of weapons of mass destruction. This is a clear escalation of tension between East and West. The President of the United States reacted shortly after with a video message. His avatar reported that the West would be prepared to meet any aggression with suitable measures. He also...
Huh.
What? Out of my way. What? Out of my way. What? Out of my way.
Okay. So, I mean, it seems like the news... Anything else? That's the only thing we can interact with. I mean, other than maybe playing the piano again, looking at the notes. Or what about contacting Linda? Or Lydia?
Not as long as that bot's snooping around.
Well, tell him to, like, go park off. You know, maybe do that.
I'm not alone.
I'm not alone.
Not now.
Okay, well... maybe I could use a screwdriver and shut him off? I mean, that's the only thing I could think of. How do I get to be alone? He's still following me!
Okay. You know what? Shut yourself down until tomorrow.
As you wish.
Oh. Okay. The fudge? That's shutting down. That's interesting. Alright, I'm gonna go back to the office. And there's no doors. There's no doors anywhere. Nobody has any privacy.
Not now.
Richard. God, I was so worried. Where were you?
I was in hospital.
What? Oh, why? Are you sick? Why didn't you tell me?
Really?
I had an accident, I think, on the M75. Something went wrong with the electronics.
Oh God, are you hurt?
My head took a bit of a beating. Otherwise, everything's fine.
You could have been killed. I wouldn't have even known. It can't go on like this.
I know.
You have to speak to her.
Lydia, I've just come out of the hospital. And Tracy isn't here anyway.
Excuses, excuses.
She went to her parents. She took James with her too. She's bought a bot. Can you imagine? I have a bot now. Me of all people.
Oh.
Why are you laughing?
She got you a bot? That's nasty. What is she doing at her parents' place?
I don't even know. Rant about Tracy, yes.
Gone off to sulk, probably. Like always. Richard's done this, Richard's done that.
Did she leave because of that argument you had?
Argument?
Yeah, a week ago, you complained about that for hours.
No idea. The past few days are still a bit of a blur.
Do you think she wants to leave? What's wrong? Are you scared?
Scared? No, why?
So why won't you say anything?
Because I need to think.
Fine. You don't need me for that.
Sweetie.
No, it's fine. And anyway, I have another
I
customer.
knew it.
At this hour?
It's lunchtime in New York, Richard. I told you I'm no longer working nights. Too many creeps. Get some rest. And remember, if you ever need to talk, you have a bot now.
Yeah.
Please don't open the door until the vehicle has come to a complete stop.
Someone was definitely in the car with him, and it looks like Linda.
Cobalt blue, aquamarine, or a faded turquoise, or a spectrum. Is that possible?
Whatever you wish, Doctor. However you imagine it to be. It's Ray. I have to go. Keep me informed.
Of course, Mrs. Newman. Ah, there's our patient. You just missed your wife. A bit less dazed than yesterday, Mr. Newman? Looking at you, I see nothing but a piece of art. Your pulse is uneven, but it's expected. Your medication. Otherwise, do you remember the accident now?
Remember the...
No?
Yes. The cab.
It'll all come back, don't worry. Any questions? Don't forget, you can call me at any time.
Never, Adam.
The electronics suddenly started playing up.
You were incredibly lucky, my friend. The car is a wreck. Not too fond of flying, I mean, who rides a cab these days?
It must have been the electronics.
Now, don't go jumping to conclusions, Newman. Leave that to the experts. In fact, don't make any conclusions. Not in your state. Just relax.
Be complicit.
Was I alone in the car?
You don't remember?
No. I don't. That's bad, right?
No, do not worry. I'm just noting it down. Memory loss is a common post-trauma phenomena. We push these experiences into dark corners of the brain and then come up with conspiracy theories. And yes, you were alone in the car.
John, is he okay?
Your son will need to come in for regular examinations for a while, but there's nothing to concern yourself with.
Hey, what's to ask about the wife?
And Amy?
She's fine. She wasn't in the car.
Ah. Right.
So who was in the car?
She was in the car?
No. Maybe. I'm still a little confused.
No more questions? Very well. If you wish, you may get up. No sports, lots of water, and if you have any problems, you have my number. Don't you worry. Minerva will gently guide you through your day. Oh,
Minerva.
and please take your son to the clinic as soon as possible. Your wife had to go to an appointment. We expect him daily at 10 in the morning.
Central?
Welcome
Sorry.
back, Adam.
The world. The world.
35.
Dreams, hands. Arms.
Okay.
Floating. Riding a beam of light. Stars.
What would you like to do today? Is the window asking me a question? Okay.
The path. The beginning. Circling yourself.
Another set of rooms with no doors.
Infinity. Light.
This is like the same apartment style setup.
A circle?
Note from Amy, written on Monday morning. Hi, Adam. I'm so sorry. I know I should really be at home. This project, Hydra. Please take John to the clinic. Your accident has really upset him. I love you. Yes, I ordered a nanny for him. Are you okay with that? She'll be here. She'll be by tomorrow. I mean, he just has to accept that, obviously. This award. Adam Newman for 10 years of outstanding work at the present. Seem to like it here. Let's keep it that way. But don't forget, your life isn't all work. It's a lot more toned down. What is this? The present, on sick leave for today. John Daily 10 a.m. Recreation Center. Tuesday nanny for John arrives. Recovery process. Please note down any observations concerning your state of health. Cab accident. Car company promises a rapid investigation. The circumstances leading to the cab accident on Circuit Street this Sunday remains a mystery. The cab car company promises rapid clarification. All hover and cab car systems were examined to find any possible software error. So far, everything looks good, the company spokeswoman, Hibiko Watanabe. But we will keep looking. Is that 2 cars? A visual of your life. I have a electric looking piano. Magic piano. Don't think about it, just go with the flow. The same way. It's got guitar sounds. Interesting. What else do we have here? John. Our son. Hold on, what does it say? Your son is the most important person in your life. Make sure he's always happy and taken care of. John's next appointment with Dr. Sykes is at 10.
You're awake.
John, thank God.
Hello, Adam. Did you sleep well?
Thanks. Henry, I'm kind of seeing double. It'll be fine, though. And you, John? Are you okay?
I'm hungry.
Okay. Me too. Let's find something to eat.
Talk about Amy.
When is Amy coming?
Don't know. She's working. Her project is being shown on Sunday. She left a message, though.
Yeah, I saw it. What are you drawing?
Nothing.
Doesn't look like nothing.
It's a circle.
Doesn't look like a circle.
It's not finished yet.
That is an image of a genius. Where'd Floaty Dude go?
What are you eating?
Same as always.
Oh. Help me out, Henry. Cereal or cornflakes?
Cornflakes, Adam. With hot chocolate.
Cornflakes with hot chocolate? Print breakfast. Cornflakes? No, it's a 3D printer for food.
Your drink is coming up. What do you say?
Thank you, food assembler. Do I have to go back to the hospital?
Hey, it's not my decision.
But I'm fine.
Amy is worried. That's all.
She's not even here.
It's definitely a child take.
John has an appointment at the Kurtz Recreation Center.
Thank you for reminding me, disembodied head. Disembodied floating head. John's favorite toy. Friend and teacher. Day by the Sea. Dedication from Amy. Another beautiful day by the lighthouse.
John, we have to go.
Henry's missing.
Your jellyfish is here.
I can't find his remote.
Let's have another look.
Because I want to examine this picture. It's 3D! That's cool. Dedication from Fred Harris. You deserved it, Adam. John's birthday dedication from Amy. Do you remember this day? Amy and John. Dedication from Amy. The world is your oyster, John. She pregos. Wedding. Dedication from Jody and Peter Newman. Guess it's his parents. We are so happy for you. Never forget, nothing is truly lost in this world. Oh, that's not weird at all. Oh, okay. Nope, that's okay. Yep, that's totally not weird. Oh, what else can we look at here? Pictures. John created. Cloud Hub. This is John's private hub. Luther. I am Luther. I take care of John when he is asleep, and that's all I have to know. Okay. He just sleeps with Teddy. Normal. Normal for most kids. He's probably like, well, 7. Easel. Contemplating Man, draft by Amy. Begun on Saturday morning. What do you think, Adam? I think it's a really interesting. Amy's private hub. It's the remote control, but we're not going to interact with that just yet. This has no shower, just this interesting looking tub. Honestly, it looks like a casket. I'm gonna say right now, it looks like a casket. Oh, jeez. Smart loft system? Your home is your world, and the world is your home. Change time and space with the press of a button. Music. Light snacks. All right. All right, let's go with perpetual motion. I can't really hear this one. Hot tub. Ambiance. Jungle. Add sounds. Holograms, fish. Leave. I want to see the holograms of fish. Anyway, here's the remote.
There it is. Got it.
Talk to John. Johnny boy, let's go. I found your remote.
Here. It was in Amy's room.
What was it doing there?
You'll have to ask Amy. Come on now.
Okay. Salmon. Elevator is on its way.
No dawdling.
Come hither, John. Monday Infinity Plaza.
Adam, are you concerned? Do not forget, you are what counts. You. But who are you? What are your goals? What is your purpose? All the answers are here in your city. Take a look around and enjoy your day.
In the present. All right, let's take a look around. Hover car? Look over here.
Mr. Newman.
Linda Patrick. Miss Patrick sometimes steps in as John's babysitter. Known each other for 6 years. Oh, I guess we could chat.
Miss,
Hello, Miss Patrick.
Hello, little guy. Now, you gave us all quite a fright there.
What? Oh, yeah. It was close. The vehicle system must have failed.
Well, better not to think about it too much. Good day, Mr. Newman.
You too, Miss Patrick.
Good day. Alright, see if I can talk to anybody else. Or interact with anything. Oh, I guess it's a lift. Cable car. But I don't want to go in the cable car yet. Oh shit. That's not weird.
Is everything okay?
It's just a geohazard.
Yeah.
It's just a geohazard. It's just pretty normal.
Maybe a little.
They're happening more often.
I don't think so.
They're getting stronger.
Yeah, so that's not normal. But Dad, it's okay. It's just a geohazard. They happen frequently. That's what happens when you drill into the ground. And other beautiful pieces of wildlife. Natural resources, so forth. Jewelry assembler of the Kurtz Foundation. Give your wife a gift of happiness.
Who would you like to give a gift to, Adam?
My wife, Amy Newman.
Amy would like this necklace. What do you think?
Yes. Yeah. Probably. Sure,
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, let's print the necklace. Alright, we have a necklace for later. Alright, so we'd go down the elevator. Oh, that's neat. It's like holographic. Like actually holographic. I don't think I've ever seen that in a video game before. Gonna be honest. Alright, we can't talk to you. Look at the hover cars again.
John, you coming? What is he doing there?
What are you doing there, boy? Where is he? Objection unknown. Please contact a member of Security 5. We're gonna take it.
What is it?
No idea. Have you ever seen one before?
No. What did that man do with it?
No idea. It's something like a... Yeah, actually, I don't know.
You should give
It's
it
something like, I don't know.
First, we're going to Dr. Sykes.
Alright, what about the elevator? Hey kid dog, how are you? Well, actually, can I access the elevator?
You have been granted a sick day, Adam. You should take John to the clinic and recover.
Or it could go to work. Alright, fine. Nah. Well, no. Yes, my son is the most important thing, so I should take him to the clinic. Like I'm supposed to, if he would get out of the way. Hey, Tom. Oh, like, I can't actually get in the hover car? Can I take talk to her again?
Everything okay?
Oh, yes, thank you. One gets used to everything. Adapt and evolve. There's nothing to it, really.
Adapt and evolve. Okay. So I guess we use this. Use? I was gonna say, I thought they grounded all the hover cars. Also good to hear. Union Park. Well, that didn't sound like ominous music at all. Well, that's interesting. I mean, there's so many polygons in this. Damn it, John, get out of the way. Oh my god, worst son ever. I am stuck now. I am actually stuck. John, why? Oh my god, what? He is the most important thing in my life. Except when he wants to go to the doctor. Now he's like keeping me from going to the doctor. What the fuck? Oh my god, I am actually stuck. Wow. Wow, all I wanted to do was look at the water, but no. For a second. There's no other action moves I can do, so... Joan Tyler.
Adam, I've just seen the pictures of the accident. It's unbelievable. Did you receive the contact from the World Union lawyers? You must file a case. You're entitled to compensation. We're thinking of you. Get well soon.
Okay, Aunt Joan. Should call him, say, hey, we're gonna be late.
That didn't take long. How can I help?
Sorry. Actually, I don't know why I called.
Oh? Don't worry. You will recover. Trust us.
Oh no, like, I am actually stuck now. Really? Good thing it saves frequently. My own son pushed me into a glitch. Alright, let's not look at the water. Because that was the not the thing to do, apparently.
We have time. Come on, let's take a walk around the park.
We are taking a walk around the park. Are we not? Or are you not following me, boy?
Do you Do you want to control Henry?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, okay.
I'm a jellyfish.
Good job, Adam.
I actually can't see where I'm going. Alright, flew around the statue, now what? So this is what happens, or what would happen if you, You know, the face of this creature looks really similar. But I don't, or familiar, but I'm not sure what it's...
2,401.
49.
Very good, John.
How far can I go?
Hello, Betty. I wish you a wonderful day.
You too, Henry.
Wait, who's Betty? So I can't fly over the water. Oh no. Oh no. Game. Game. No. I have no idea what's going on. I guess it froze. Yeah. Okay, that's disappointing. I wonder if anybody else had like some really bad bugs go on. I gotta set my controller down and I gotta do a thing and then do another thing. Hold on. Nyeh. Oh, like I literally can't. Hold on. Oh, well. The thing broke the game. Where is it? Close window. Don't let me open the task manager. I'm gonna open the task manager. Alright, where art thou, Vidya Games? It's like using... It's using just it's what, almost double the memory that OBS is using right now. Let me make sure it's completely shut off. Alright. Yeah. That's twice in one area. Maybe we should not fly the jellyfish around like insanely fast. Alright, so we're gonna run back through the park.
We have time. Come on, let's take a walk around the park. Do you want to control Henry?
Yeah, okay.
Henry's movements are only...
Good job, Adam.
slightly more fluid than the actual people in this game. So these are your hover cars, which are 2-seaters only, and then your fish, and I can't fly over the water. I wonder if there's an option to feed the fish.
Morning, little jellyfish.
Hello, Betty. I wish you a wonderful day.
You too, Henry.
It knows everybody. That music is so ominous, though. Alright, I'm done playing with Henry.
Do you want to control Henry?
Not now. We're already late.
You say that. I want to see what the other points of interest are. I guess looking at the hover cars again.
John's examination starts soon.
Oh, they won't actually let me use it. Never mind then. Examine. Theirs is a good life, and yours can be too. Feed fish.
Look, fish. Can I feed them?
Use your snack, but keep something for yourself.
They always swim in the same pattern. A perfect circle.
It just seems that way.
I would like to be a fish for a change. Someday it'll be possible.
Someday? Maybe.
For certain.
You want to be a fish. A fish, John. A fish.
Henry?
Not now. We're already late.
That's our boy. He wants to be a fish someday. I mean, we said he could be anything, so that's that, I guess.
Welcome to the Kurtz Recreation Center. We wish you a pleasant stay.
The heck is this? I can't go in here. Okay. I don't know what that is, but alright. Alright, so what can we do in here? Let's talk to her son again.
Henry?
Yeah, okay.
Square root of 2,401.
49.
Very good, John.
You lie. You lie. Okay. This is you can't go like up. I guess he just stays the same height. Interesting. Lots of invisible walls too. Alright, so my only points of interest are at the desk, so let's do that. Chalk True Robot here. Question about your stay at the clinic. Mona is here 24 hours a day. Alright, Mona.
Mr. Newman. What can we do for you?
Sorry, I know we're late.
No problem at all, sir.
I'm bringing my son, John, for Dr. Sykes.
Thank you, sir. You can pick John up in 4 hours. Go enjoy this sunny day.
And now we're back to Nolan. Richard Nolan. Oh shit. Sunday, January 12th. So this is the next day.
Good evening, sir. Today is January 12th, 2048. It is 6:26 p.m.
What? How late is it?
You slept 17 hours, sir.
Why didn't you wake me? Tracy and James should be back any minute now.
You asked me not to disturb you, sir.
Damn it. Well, at least help me to clean this place up.
You gotta be very specific when you're talking to robots. Because otherwise they'll take you quite literally. So don't disturb me. Get disturbed.
What's with the cleaner? Is it broken again?
Should I clean up?
That's the cleaner's job. Where is that damn thing?
Mr. I hate robots, but gosh, gotta rely on the cleaner. That's broken.
What's with the damn cleaner? Let's see. Something's in the filter. God, what's this doing here? I haven't seen this card in years. Why did she keep it? Where are they? They should be back by now.
Where art thou, wife and kiddo? Yeah, they don't call him a Roomba in the future. They call him a cleaner. Real jazzy like.
How late is it now?
8:30 p.m.
Damn, where is she?
Maybe you should call her parents.
You know, maybe. That sounds like a swell idea.
Hi, Richard, are you there? Okay, you probably don't want to talk to me right now. I get that. It's just your column for editing. Can I expect it today? If not, Troy can take care of it. Okay, so see you tomorrow, and don't worry, everything will work out.
This motherfucker. We had an accident. He's like, I expect this to be done the next day. The fuck is wrong with him?
Richard.
Evening, Herman.
Richard, listen, now is not a good time.
I know, it never is. I just wanted to know if Tracy's still there.
Tracy? No.
Okay, and when did she leave?
She wasn't here, Richard. Not today, not this week.
Confused.
But why did she say?
You know, Richard, maybe she finally left you.
You would love that, wouldn't you?
Well, if you ask me, she should have dumped you ages ago. She deserves better than you.
So she wasn't there. Maybe something's happened to her. Do you even care?
Richard, I know my daughter. She's fine. And when she finally ends it with you, she'll be even better.
Fuck. Alright, rant.
Come on, cut the crap.
You called.
Whatever. Have a nice evening.
So much for a rant. Right column, introduction. Okay, so the human perspective or introduction could be ironic. You want to know if I want to smash my bot? I don't understand the question. Please ask him, not me. He passed the Turing test. Why on earth would I want to smash him? Or, serious, I lived my whole life without a bot for decades. When I was a kid, I smashed the toy robot of a friend. It didn't keep me up at night. What did I know about the Turing test? I like the ironic one better. Okay, so why tell you this? Without our bots, we'd be screwed. Let's be honest, we wouldn't remember our kids' birthdays. I own a bot, and he knows everything. He beats me at chess, if I allow him to. He speaks Japanese. He remembers my first kiss. Why should I deceive you and act like I'm a good person? That bot is much better than me. Or, why tell you this? A bot came into my life this week. Procedure, really. Just not by my authorization. Now he's here, and I realize how much he knows. How much more how much more he can do. But I don't ask him anything. He's too human to be ignored, but not human enough to trust. Take that. Conclusion. Wow, what a freaking article, man. Okay. Ironic. So you think you're particularly clever, particularly interesting. Well, I'm bored already. Tell it to my bot, and if you're too busy, just send your own bot, and they can talk it out, and we can stay out of each other's business. Or serious. Actually, I find it helpful to have a bot around. His presence reminds me of what I do not want. Frankly, we should thank bots and their makers. They demonstrate better than any declaration of rights that we have to remember our own humanity. Hmm. 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 Man, reading that article makes me want to drink.
Much better.
Closing. Ironic. Yours, proud owner of a sophisticated bot, or bound to the future with craving while craving the past. Or your proud owner of I like the sarcastic one. Sarcastic's an option. Okay, hold on. I wanted serious for this one. Alright, so ironic or sarcastic? So sarcastic is you want to know what I think of the Turing test. I think it signifies the moment when mankind should bid its farewell, because it's the moment when our robot home assistant has become too cute to smash and too smart to handle. Oh, so serious turns into sarcastic. Oh, that's crap. Okay. So sarcastic was why I tell you this. These days I have a bot of my own. He cleans, operates the food assembler, and he talks like a human. The problem is I have nothing to tell him. I'd rather talk to my son and my wife. Simon, he is not a substitute for human company. He only emphasizes how much I miss it. Alright, so the sarcastic one is I bought my son toy blocks. I think it's important. He doesn't need toys. Okay. Nope, we're gonna take another swig of whiskey.
Okay.
Aggressive. Ooh. Today I'm going to repeat an experiment which already proved successful on my childhood friend Dylan's toy. It is, in a way, similar to the Turing test. Don't worry, it won't take long. Are you ready? Then please go to your base VBot and bash its head in. No, I can actually understand your doubts. You think it's cruel. If things can talk, you think you think of them as human, which in turn makes smashing them seem unethical. But a bot is not a human being. It's a mass-produced gadget that what is lost if you destroy one? Credits? Probably a few thousand, nothing else. And if you don't do it, you'll lose your determination. Whatever a bot does for you, you do it yourself. You don't do it yourself anymore. The aggressive is what does all this have to do with the Turing test? The more humanity you accredit to a bot with, the more your own humanity diminishes. This test reveals whether you yourself are still human. Just go ahead and brain him. It's that simple. Next time I'll tell you how this piece of junk reacts to torture. Oh. Well, now that's a little aggressive. Sarcastic. I like the aggressive tone all the way through.
Okay, Frank.
I don't know the reason of why we had to publish that and who it was going to be published for. I don't like how you were not given an option to have all of them available. But I guess like if you're drunk or you're drinking and you're trying to do work, whatever you shell out, be it in frustration, you're going to throw away the more common notes. Can I take a bath now? I cannot. Okay.
Hey, Jenny.
Richard, good to hear from you. Hey, Steve told me you're in hospital. Is everything okay?
Sort of. An accident. I have to regroup a little. Listen, Jenny, is Tracy at your place?
No. Why?
She said she was taking James to her parents' place. She should have been back by now.
Oh, well, she's not here. I haven't heard from her in days, actually. Have you tried calling her parents directly?
Yeah, she's not there. And Herman... well, you know Herman. Did Tracy say anything to you in the past few weeks? Did she... did she say anything that I should be aware of?
No?
Come on, Jenny. I know you're best friends, but I'm worried about her.
Okay. Of course, she told me that things weren't so good between the two of you. But she's been saying that for ages, and I'm sure you know that too.
Does she want to leave me? Did she say that? Did she? God, Jennifer, don't make me squeeze it all out of you.
Guy's an asshole.
She thinks you're having an affair.
And he is.
So she does want to leave.
I don't know, Richard. Are you having an affair?
No.
Lies.
I have to call MediCentral now.
Is there anything I can do to help you?
I have to go, Jenny. Say hi to Steve. See you later.
Jubilee. Oh my gosh. So I've got some almonds here, and of course Jubilee thinks it's something that she can have. But anyway, she sat down, and as she sat down, she farted. You got cute little toot. Cute little toot. I can't help it. It's funny. Especially when she does it when we're in the kitchen. And it's all of a sudden it comes out. It's just... she's a gassy dog.
Mars, our future. By being a Martian colonist on
Let me see if the robot has anything to say.
I'm calling the hospitals now. Any idea what this is about?
No, sir. Is there something wrong with it?
Tracy didn't mention anything?
No, sir.
No, sir, not at all.
I'm calling the hospitals now.
Marset Incorporated
Alright.
are accepting applications now. Valid nanoscan
MediCentral.
required.
You are speaking with bot 3452-1.
Search for person.
Understood. Please state surname, first name, and age of the person you are searching for.
Nolan. Tracy. 39 years old. Nolan. James. 7 years old.
Understood. Please hold. Your search has yielded no results. The persons you are looking for are not in care.
How far back does the information go?
You require security level 2 to access archival information.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, sir.
A nanoscan
Okay.
takes less than 2 minutes.
So they're currently not in, I was gonna say custody. At the hospital.
This is a news flash from The Voice, your trusted source of news for Berlin and the Western world. In Berlin,
Actually.
there has been yet another bombing at one of Kurt's
Were you
robotics
listening?
production
She is
facilities.
not at her parents. Or at the hospital either. Can you explain that to me? Where is she? Where is my son?
I cannot provide you with any information about that.
You damn things save everything else.
I retained the information that your wife intended to visit your parents-in-law.
But she didn't! Did Tracy meet someone? When she left, was there anyone with her?
There was a man.
A man? Who? What was his name?
I can't say anything about that, sir.
I want to see your memory module.
Only authorized personnel from Kurt's labs are allowed.
Nonsense. Open the slot.
I apologize, sir. I do not have the authority to open it.
Fine, then I'll do it.
There's a screwdriver on the
This
desk.
has been the second attack within the last few days. In Nairobi, tensions remain high as fighting between Eastern and Western
That must
drone
be it.
units continues in the mining region, destroying large amounts of natural resources.
Obviously, he was programmed to, like, not tell Richard anything.
There is one thing you must never forget, Adam. Your most important task in this city. Being a good father. John wants to learn and grow, and you can help him. Every day.
That's not weird at all.
Mr. Newman, your son will be with you momentarily.
Thanks. Hey, is everything okay?
Mm-hmm.
Are you done?
For today. We will see him tomorrow morning. Same time, same place. You don't need to do anything. Our clinic service will pick him up. Is there a problem?
Imagine needing to go to the clinic every day.
Another appointment. Should I be concerned?
Absolutely not. No need to worry. The clinic's responsibility is to accompany patients under 12 years of age for 2 weeks with their recovery. In John's case, it could even be a few more days. All right. See you tomorrow, John.
Suspicious.
Come on. Let's go home. So, what did you talk to Dr. Sykes about?
Nothing. He only asks questions.
What kind of questions?
Doctor-patient confidentiality.
Okay.
He takes the rules very seriously. Take a seat. Is our son gonna sit with us?
To listen to some music, Adam?
Yeah. Okay.
No birds.
What?
Been sitting here for an hour now. Not a single bird. It's wonderful.
What have you got against birds?
Oh, that constant twittering. It's distracting. You gotta stay focused. You must know that.
Do we know each other?
What do you mean, no?
You know, have we met before?
If we met, it must have been long ago. An eternity. Eternal or infinite. That's the crucial difference. Anyway, it's good you're here too.
I don't quite follow.
I'm sorry, sir. Mr. De Palma needs peace and quiet.
I have peace and quiet. That's what I'm saying. I finally have peace.
I'll be going.
Thank you, Mr. Newman.
That's
Come
weird.
on, Mr. De Palma.
No, I'm not going back.
Nobody wants to take you back.
I'm staying here. Go on, you go. I don't need you.
As you wish, sir.
Huh. Okay. That's not weird at all.
Adam, I've just seen the pictures of the accident. It's unbelievable. Did you receive the contact from the World Union lawyers? You must file a case. You're entitled to compensation. We're thinking of you. Get well soon.
Adam, where are you two? Are you coming home?
We'll be right there.
Perfect. See you soon.
Oh, okay. So whatever she was doing, she's home now. Guess we can go. Who's Stuart?
Adam, I just wanted to hand off a bunch of my work to you, but Fred says you need to recover. What can I say? Without you, my Independence arias are half as stellar. I'm just not talented enough or too clever for this nonsense. Probably the latter.
Former.
Yeah. Anyway, the latest Newman conspiracy theory has been circulating around here. Why is a healthy man without any bruises lying in bed? What are you hiding, Adam?
Wow. Dick.
Tomorrow, you're coming in, shaved and showered. Got it?
Got it.
Excellent. See you in the present, Mr. Newman.
Wow. What a colossal dick face.
Please hold. An employee from World Union Lawyers will be available in less than 1 minute. Connecting now. Please hold. An employee from World Union Lawyers will be available in less than 1 minute. Connecting now. Please hold. An employee from World Union Lawyers will be available in less than 1 minute. Connecting now. Please hold. An employee from World Union Lawyers will be available in
I wonder how
less
long
than
this goes
1
on.
minute. Connecting now. Please hold. An employee from World Union Lawyers will be available in less than 1 minute. Connecting now. Please hold. An employee from World Union Lawyers will be available in less than 1 minute. Connecting now. Please hold. An employee from World Union Lawyers will be available in less than 1 minute. Connecting now. Please hold. An employee from World Union Lawyers will be available in less than 1 minute. Connecting now.
Actually might look to see.
Please hold. An employee from World Union Lawyers will be available in less than 1 minute. Connecting now. Please hold. An employee from World Union Lawyers will be available in less than 1 minute. Connecting now. Please hold. An employee from World Union Lawyers will be available in less than 1 minute. Connecting now. Please hold. An employee from World Union Lawyers will be available in less than 1 minute. Connecting now. Please hold. An employee from World Union Lawyers will be available in less than 1 minute. Connecting now. Please hold. An employee from World Union Lawyers will be available in less than 1 minute. Connecting now. Please hold. An employee
Or am
from
I
World
like being
Union
put
Lawyers will be
on, you know,
available in less than 1 minute.
eminent hold?
Connecting now. Please hold. An employee from World Union Lawyers will be available in less than 1 minute. Connecting now.
I'm actually gonna look through a guide here just to see if this has any sort of result.
Please hold. An employee from World Union Lawyers will be available in less than 1 minute. Connecting now.
Doctor. Coach. Infinity Plaza. Hey, sir. Alrighty. Did that. Dr. Sykes. Going back to Nolan's apartment. Listen to Minerva. You have to approach the reception desk again. Enter the rail cart. Oh, this has nothing to do about calling. Oh. Okay, well, that says absolutely nothing about it, so.
Please hold. An employee from World Union Lawyers will be available in less than 1 minute. Connecting now.
We've waited for a whole hour and they didn't pick up. How rude. I don't know, I ain't getting no settlement check, I guess.
Don't you think I should know what's going on?
He asked questions. Normal questions. How I felt, what I was thinking.
Well, then...
For 4 hours.
Okay, fine.
I'm pretty sure that's what he said. That was 4 hours.
It's Monday, and you are watching the present.
Your life is our poetry.
Everything that matters to you, Mr. Adam.
Alright. I was gonna say, let's go into work and beat that guy's ass. But maybe we should keep it civil.
Adam?
Mom?
Maybe she's in her office.
Adam, thank God. Are you feeling better?
She feels fine. Give necklace.
Here, this... Well, I thought you'd...
For me? Oh, so... Did you get this from the jewelry assembler down the street?
Well, yeah. I just thought...
No, it's really sweet. Greek fret.
Yeah, it has, yeah.
Thank you, Adam. You're a darling.
Like, I'm a dude. It's fine, right?
You're looking less pale.
Thanks. Yeah, I feel better.
Can I go play?
Can he? Yeah, he can, of course. But no rampaging. You probably have 1,000 questions.
I don't, actually.
Sure. Why would you? Sorry, my head is spinning. I have to finish up here.
Is Governor Kane making you do overtime now?
No rest for the wicked.
Still the same project?
Yeah, but it will be great, Adam. Perfect. You'll see.
Oh, this accident. I still can't remember anything.
Maybe it's for the best. Post-traumatic stress. Dr. Sykes said it'll go away.
So, a nanny. Am I such a bad father?
No, I'd say you're more of a... I mean, you're not a complete dud.
Oh my God.
Is a nanny so bad?
John never had problems being alone.
John is 7. You want to work again. I'm hardly at home. I think she would be good for him. She'll keep
Did I
him
guess he
grounded.
was 7? I can't remember.
Okay?
Okay.
I have to get some work done. Lie down. Get some rest.
Okay, sweetie. Alright. I'll look at this again.
Hey, that's gonna be good.
Thank you, Adam.
Talk to our boy here.
Memory Lane. Have you been chatting to Grandpa again?
Amy said I can.
It's just a program, you know. It's not really Grandpa.
I know.
It's just a pile of thoughts that he might have once had. Nothing more.
I like hearing his voice. Grandpa's funny.
Yeah, he was. Sometimes.
Sometimes.
To us, you know.
I know.
To Amy and me.
I know.
I mean it, John.
Really okay?
Why?
Nothing. Keep playing. Good night then, John.
Night.
Good night. It's bright and sunny outside still.
A circle.
Circular. We already played the piano.
Would you like to listen to some music, Adam?
Yeah. Okay.
Adam, what is the square root of 169?
The square, what is it? What do you say? The square root of 168? I actually don't know.
13.
Fantastic, Adam. Next question.
What?
Now, Henry.
Later, maybe?
What? Okay, cool, I guess. So I guess you can play that infinitely. Same thing with the photos, I think. Yeah. Let's go to bed. In our turtleneck. With no pillow. Maybe in the future, the mattresses are just so perfect you don't need a pillow.
How are you today, sir?
Good. Fantastic.
Should I make you a...
No. Hi, Steve.
Hey, Richard. How you doing?
I'm still alive.
Medi Central called us. We were worried about you.
I bet you were.
Seriously. Frank said you would rest up for a bit.
I'm fine. I'm coming by. I have to have a chat with you anyway. Privately.
Oh yeah. Jenny said you might want to do that. Everything happens at once, right? Okay. I'll see you soon.
See ya.
New entries. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and call it here before I do anything else. I am a bit tired today, more so than normal. I'd like to take this time to figure out why I'm so tired. Because caffeine isn't helping. I took 200 milligrams of caffeine about an hour and a half ago. And I do not feel energized at all. So that's where we will call it. Thanks, guys, for hanging out. Thanks to anyone who has followed or subscribed or what have you. And I'm not seeing the notification for. Everyone in chat who's been cordial. Thank you very much. Nice to see you guys. So tomorrow, same time, same place. So it'll most likely be a little bit earlier. As long as I don't feel the same that I did today. Which was tired and sluggish. Just been feeling tired and sluggish all day, no matter what. And it could just be, I need more sleep. Everyone needs more sleep eventually. So thanks again, guys, for hanging out. I appreciate you all hanging out with me during the interview with Sam Aguiar. and then playing this different game. You know, it's nice to have a bit of a change. So after this game, I think we're gonna dive into Shadow Warrior. I don't know how many hours this game is, so whenever we finish it, we'll finish it and then go to Shadow Warrior 2. But until then, thank you for being here. And we'll see you guys next time. Take care of yourselves.